What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another installment of your favorite weekly, somewhat always weekly show, the Casually Chelsea Show. I'm here with Scott. I am Casually FC, Marshall DBDX, whatever you'd like to refer to me as. More panelists will be coming on to the show as we go on. Not much to talk about, but there's still stuff to talk about that's been surmounting since the last time we did this show last Sunday, I believe. It was a really, really slow international break, as most of you already know. So not really much like big news, but there are some big stories that we would like to discuss regardless, or I'd like to bring up and share your opinion, share the opinion of the panelists, as well as have a discussion on. So stay tuned for all that stuff. Be sure to smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Channel is on its way to 5K subscribers, road to 5K. Be sure to help in that path to 5K by subscribing. Especially if you're new here, you're returning, and I've watched the channel a few times now. Subscribe. Costs you nothing. It's absolutely free and a good way to support the channel. Hit the bell notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. If you're watching on mobile, I believe there is a hype feature you could also press that helps out with the algorithm. So hype up the video, let people know that Casually Chelsea Show is back and ready to, help you get through your day, because nothing hits better than 2.5 hours or 3 hours of Chelsea content, especially when you're just trying to get through the workday. But that's it pretty much, guys. Last thing I'm going to say is memberships. 4 different memberships starting at 99p, and all that helps keep the lights on. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get this show going by starting off with a little bit of a small talk here. Aspie. Been a while since we've heard from Aspie since he's left. He had a few things to say on Chelsea, had some comments, so kind of want to see what he's got to say and reminisce maybe a little bit of Aspie, because I do for sure miss the player. But yeah, his time as Chelsea was coming to an end, wasn't it? Right, cool. So Cesar Azpilicueta said the following: I see a very young team that they play good football and they are building that strength step by step. Let's see where they finish the season. They're back in the Champions League, which is something that Chelsea, we are used to playing in that competition. And from there, see how the group grows. But yeah, I still have a lot of friends and I keep in touch with a lot of the people in the club. So I always watch the games as possible I can and check the scores and wish the team the best. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's straightforward. Good on Aspie. I always appreciated him as a player. I think he's at Sevilla currently. Right? It's Sevilla. So he went from Atletico to Sevilla, currently playing at Sevilla. So good for him. He's still playing. He's still active, and he's proper Chelsea. He's a blue and blue through and through. Scott, any thoughts on Aspie? I mean, maybe some positive. I don't know. What's your greatest memory of Aspie? I don't fucking know.
The season under Conte where he was arguably the best centre back in the world.
Oh fuck yeah!
Like you made that argument like it was him or one of the two. What's it called? One of the two Tottenham centre backs at the time. He was incredible that season. Yeah, like I agree with him. Like in terms of being back in the Champions League, that's what we needed to see. Yeah, like just need to see where it goes from him.
Yeah, I mean, he understands, right? Like I think all of us as Chelsea fans get it. Like being in Champions League is default for us. This is where we should be. You know, it's not a accomplishment. It's okay. We're getting back to where we were, and hopefully going forward, we're taking more steps in the right direction. So Aspie gets it. Most of us Chelsea fans get it, and we move from there. Big up to Aspie. Obviously, good positive affirmations for him. Let's go on to the next thing, which is something that was made a pretty big story over the international break. I don't think there's much to it, so I'm not gonna read too much into it. But let's go over it. Caicedo sacks Ali Barat, his previous manager. So Ali Barat is like a super agent, as most of you might know. He's the agent for Jackson. He was the agent for Nani Madueke. Obviously now we see he's the agent for Moises Caicedo, and there's probably a few other players out there. What was that, Scott?
In Capier as well.
So he's a pretty renowned agent. But the statement is as follows: that Moises Caicedo put it on his Instagram and he took it down. Chelsea football star Moises Caicedo has separated from and is no longer represented by his former agent Manuel Sierra of Football Division Worldwide, and he is not represented by Ali Barat at Epic. The contract ended on August 14th of 2025, and the player has now appointed people that he can trust. And the other half of that is basically the translation. The last line maybe is a little iffy. People he can trust. Why put that out there? Is that implying that you don't trust your agent? But I don't think there's much to read into it. There's also this tweet: Chelsea have no concern over the future of Moises Caicedo following the player's public axing of his agent Manuel Sierra. I just think this is obviously one of those procedures or decisions that the player made simply because I think Moises Caicedo is fully intent on committing his future to Chelsea. Ali Barat, and I guess Manuel Sierra, if you want to throw that name in there. I know for one, Ali Barat is a super agent. His best interest is players that want to seek the move, get agent fees. You know, these are the type of agents that are going to look for transfers out, transfers to other clubs, look for what's best for their agent, getting the best contract they can get, so on and so forth. So I think for me, and Scott, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, maybe you think you're thinking deeply in another direction with this. To me, it seems straightforward. I think Moises Caicedo wants to commit to staying here. That's against the interests of Ali Barat. Let's just part ways. Mutual agreement to part ways. I no longer wish to have your services. If anything, I want an agent that's going to help me improve the contract I have at the current club versus an agent that's going to try to help me find a move elsewhere, which is what Ali Barat specializes in. So part ways here, you know, conflict of interest and no harm, no foul. That's really how I read it.
Yeah, potentially. I don't really know like where to forward this in terms of, like, we obviously don't know what the reasoning is. Most of the time, players change their agents because they're angling for a move, but I don't think that's the case here with Caicedo. So yeah, I don't really know why he's done this. Maybe it's because the contract negotiations that were happening were like not progressing how he wanted. But yeah, like I genuinely have no idea like why he's decided to do this.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you brought up. There's also, we were negotiating, Chelsea were negotiating a contract extension or an additional contract for Moises Caicedo, and Honestly, it could be something like that where there was no progress or headway being made with that. I think Moyes is interested in staying at Chelsea, and maybe Ali Barat wants more of a fee to get him. Like maybe there was a conflict of interest in there as well. Again, I think when it comes to the agents, I think most agents probably have the best interest in their client in their head, but I think the biggest talker for agents, it's always going to be money, an agent fee. Listen, if we get you this move, you get paid a lot, I get paid a lot as well. You know, I don't think staying at Chelsea is going to earn you the money you deserve, yada yada yada. And I just don't think Moises Caicedo was interested in that. So I think it was just a conflict of interest, and maybe Ali Barat gets in the way of a better contract or a negotiation that maybe suits what Caicedo actually wants to do, which is stay at Chelsea. Despite what people may say, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind Moises Caicedo wants to stay at Chelsea for as long as possible. I don't know if you agree with that, Scott, but I think he falls into that category with like Cole, Enzo, everyone that always gets rumored with a move away from Chelsea once things go bad.
Yeah, I don't really think anyone at the moment has a need in terms of our top players to leave. I also think partly some of that comes down to they just haven't been here long enough. Like, I would find it weird if like Caicedo was suddenly asking for a move away. Like, unless Real Madrid came in, which they're not currently. It's the same with Enzo. I think this is a conversation we don't really have to have about our top players because no other team is coming in for them. Like, some of that has to do with the long contracts they're on. Some of that has to do with like not saying other teams wouldn't want them. It's just they're stacked in that same position, if that makes sense. Like, I don't see why Real Madrid would currently want like a Palmer because they already have a Bellingham or they already have a ex-player or whatever. So I think it's not something we've had to see or deal with as of yet. And I don't know if I think we'll see the measure of these players and how much they want to stay when that happens, because it's not something that we have had to experience yet. So like we have no idea if these guys, I think they are, that's not me saying they're not committed, but we haven't fully seen how committed they are to Chelsea because no one has tested the water. Like, literally, I think since these guys have got here, no one that we've wanted to keep long term outside of Colwell was the only one, and that was a bit scary. Not scary is the wrong word, but like that was close. But I think that was mainly down to considerations of game time more than anything.
Yeah. That one didn't feel as convincing as the other ones, right? That one's a little bit more.
But it's also, like, I think that was down to game time and him wanting certain certain things in terms of what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't think of the word.
In terms of like security and
that's not the word I'm thinking of, but like guaranteed, like sort of guaranteed minutes, time and whatnot. So that's the only one we've had in terms of like a full starter, if that makes sense, like a guy we do not want to lose. Everyone else that we've had in a position like that is like Noni, we didn't care. Jackson, we were trying to get rid of. Those two big ones I can think of off the top of my head. If people can think of others, let me know. But yeah, like we haven't really had the issue of like, oh, we've got this player that's like one of the better players on our team. This team is interested in him.
Left on his contract, kind of thing, as well.
Yeah, or not even 2 more years. Because I don't think the years thing matters, but it will. Like, for example, if it gets to a point where, like, say Real Madrid came in for Enzo, because I think that's the big one that people have like.
Yeah, that's always the one that goes around.
I do think if it got to a point, and I don't know if he'd do this, by the way. This is purely hypothetical. If it got to a point where Enzo was doing a Courtois, like, I'm not training, or an Isaac, like, I'm not training, like, I'm staying at home until you sell me. I do wonder if at that point, I'm not saying they cave in terms of just selling for anything, but like, say for example, Real Madrid then came in with like 80 mil, they just go, okay, like, instead of trying to like say you're staying because of the contract, part of me does think they just go, do you know what? Sure. If an offer came in. So when shit hits the fan, I don't know how much the years is going to matter, depending on what the player does. But yeah, that's something we've had to deal with. So at the moment, it's just pure speculation what's going to happen and how these guys would feel.
Yeah, I agree. It is pure speculation. I think it's early days. I mean, you said it yourself. The only one that's really been like at the tip of people's tongues when it comes to, oh, they're gonna leave, and if you don't make Champions League or if you don't make top four, they're gonna decide, oh, how much longer do I stay at all that stuff. You already know the narratives, and you know the validity to that, and maybe not so much validity to them. We've just not really gotten to a point where it's going to realistically happen just because of the long contracts, like you mentioned. We're not there yet. It is early doors. It'll be interesting to see how it's approached. I mean, I'd like to believe the approach is similar to, depending on a player and the performances, the approach is similar to Cucurella, where Cucurella, despite how we see the recruitment work in terms of they don't want to go for anyone that's over a certain age. They want to recruit young and build young. Cucurella was one of the outliers in terms of, hey, listen, you perform well, you're doing well, you're consistent. We're going to give you a new contract. Cucurella is what, 28, 27? I believe he's 27. So
I think so.
If, let's say, Levi Cole, for example, maybe not Levi Cole. He's not. He's like a Cobham kid, so maybe that's too much. But like, it's Enzo Fernandez. Keeps putting up some decent performances. Obviously, we want more than decent, but if he keeps building on the numbers he built last season, where he had a good season, continues that up until 4 more years when he has a year or two left on his contract, I'd be interested to see if they approach it exactly how they approach Cucurella, where we'll give you like 3 more years or extend your contract, we'll renegotiate it. So if it's reward based, I want to see it, but we're still ways away. So early talks on that stuff. On the contract situation as well, I might as well bring this up since we're on here. Bomb Squad. So Scott, you brought up how we never had people like down tools or anything. I'm not saying anyone in the Bomb Squad has, but I have a feeling if even that were something to happen where a player does down tools, we might not give a fuck. We'll just put him in a Bomb Squad and say like, you're not leaving unless someone pays what we want for you. That's it. Point, period. You can ruin your career if you want, but you have to also be reasonable with us. And speaking of being reasonable, we have players that denied a move outside of Chelsea because it wasn't ideal to them, and now they're currently in the Bomb Squad. But as of late, Sky Cava reporting here that Chelsea are working to find clubs for Raheem Sterling and Axel Disasi in January. The players are keeping fit, and it is also up to them to agree any deal which may materialize. Now, as far as Sterling goes, not much is going on. Sorry, I just read this comment down here. I have a dream, Arsenal. Okay. We continue on. The latest that has been rumored is Axel Disasi being linked with some moves. So another Chelsea star, Axel Disasi, is now in the spotlight as Borussia Dortmund and in spotlight at Borussia Dortmund, and could present another opportunity to sign a bargain. Also, it says here that Dortmund are interested in a bargain deal for Axel Disasi, according to Bild. So could happen. I mean, they have Ansel Mino currently, and they probably want to try to keep Ansel Mino. That's the rumor I've heard lately. But if that doesn't work out, maybe Axel Disasi is a plan B for them. I don't think Bundesliga would be a bad move for Axel Disasi. I don't really necessarily care where he goes, but get him off the books. But I actually don't think Axel Disasi to Bundesliga would be a bad move for him.
I think it'd be terrible.
You think so?
Highline FC, Disasi in a Highline league.
Fair enough.
Oh boy.
Yeah, never mind. I take it back. I was thinking more along the lines like, it's not like a league where you have to build up from the back too much. None of that, like, center backs running into midfield type of tactics. It's more straightforward. But when you bring up the high line, that's a good point, actually. So yeah, maybe this won't work out. But hey, if he leaves Chelsea, it works out for everyone. So that's it. In terms of the Bomb Squad, that's about as much of an update as there is right now. Not really much movement. Obviously, when we get closer to January, we'll hear more about Raheem or Axel. But any thoughts before we move on to the next thing?
I still don't think, just on those, like the Bomb Squad, I don't think either of them leave this window. Sorry, this season, I should say. The Sterling one I've maintained, like, because of his situation.
I feel like Axel has a better better chance of leaving.
I don't think so, because we can't loan him. Is one, unless we cancel a loan, and I don't see whose loan you'd cancel that would be beneficial to us. Like, I know people have talked about like cancelling Anselmino or Sarr. That, bro, if we do that instead of addressing the fucking centre back issue properly, I'll lose my head again with these sporting directors. If that's our answer to our centre back issue is to bring back Sarr or Anselmino, great. Outside of that, there's no one else we can really bring back that I think makes sense. Paez doesn't make any sense. Penders doesn't make any sense. Who else have we got that's on that list? I've forgotten all our loans.
Loans that we have.
Yeah, international loans.
And so
Jackson, obviously, we can't.
Jackson.
Well, Jackson doesn't make sense. We could, but it makes no sense. Yeah, so like it's not gonna be a loan.
I'm gonna do sorry.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a loan unless you can loan him in the league. And I think the number of teams that would take him in this league, you could count on one hand and not run out of fingers. So yeah, I think that's gonna be hard to do this window, or sorry, this season.
Yeah.
Unless like Monaco come back in for him, or you manage to get like a cheap deal for like 10-15 mil, which like if that happens, cool. I'm up for that. It's not like 100% take that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. The Sterling one is just like that's almost impossible because
that one he's going to run down his contract.
The number of teams he's not going to play for a team lower than the Premier League is number one. He's not going to play for a team outside of London is number two. That means your choices are Arsenal. He's already been there, done it. They're not taking him back. His choices are then Crystal Palace. They don't need him. They've got better. They've got Brentford. They don't need him. They've got better currently. He also doesn't really fit. Like he's not going to play wing back in their 5 system. I don't think he takes Sharda out of the team currently. They just spent big money on Uatara. Like he doesn't fit. Fulham just signed 2 wingers in the window just gone. Nearly 3. They were proud to sign a 3rd if Harry Wilson left. So it's literally the only team you could send him to is West Ham, and like if West Ham are interested, sure, but like
it's a tough move. Essentially, mostly
if you're West Ham, I don't see where he fits because he's not playing on the right over Bowen, he's not playing in the 10 over Paqueta. He maybe goes on that left wing, but for me, when he's fit, some of it was better than him currently in his current state. So yeah, like. And if they're playing a 5 at the back system, they have 2 10s instead of wingers, which would be Paqueta and Bowen. So yeah, it doesn't really fit for him either. So I think he's just here till the end of the season. We've then got 1 more year of him. Like with Sterling, it's kind of similar to the Chilwell. I think the Chilwell thing we got kind of lucky in a sense that we could do the Strasbourg thing. That to be honest, that only happened because the Samuel Smith thing. Like we got lucky, he got homesick. But yeah, I think the Sterling, he's just going to be here till his contract finishes. And
I agree with Sterling. With the Sassi, I think we're maybe not giving him as much credit as he probably deserves. Not that he deserves much, but I feel like you just put him in a traditional center back role and maybe some Italian team or even Monaco. Like I don't think the links from Monaco are dead. I just think that there wasn't enough time to pull the trigger on that and get that to happen.
I agree. It's not. I agree with you in terms of like I think if he like a move to France makes sense for him. Like going back to France, it's just not feasible currently unless it's a permanent one. But mid-season,
go back to Strasbourg. Not that I would want him there, but it's a possibility.
I don't think he goes back to Strasbourg. The only way he goes back to Strasbourg is because you brought Sarr back, and that's such a terrible trade-off. Even though I want Disasi gone, I don't like. Unless the plan is to get rid of another, like if you were to tell me we get Sarr back in January, sell Disasi and sell, let's just say Tosin as an example, or sell a centre back, take your pick. I don't care, just so I don't cause arguments. then still go and get another centre back, and Sarr's almost taking the backup role. I can accept that. I just don't want Sarr playing heavy minutes for us, or coming back and playing heavy minutes for us.
No, and that's understandable. It's a lot of what we just haven't seen. We don't know if the kid's ready. We would have to see. Even Hato, who has a lot of experience, even we can tell like You're not ready to like lead the line. You still have to be slowly integrated. And it's going to be the same thing with any of these center backs you bring back. Most likely, I would agree, but you never know. You never know. It's like one of those things. Time will tell. But yeah, bomb squad update. We'll see what happens with them. Sterling, I don't think is going to go anywhere. Disasi, probably a light at the end of the tunnel, whether going back to Ligue 1 or maybe a potential outlier club that might be interested in just his defensive abilities. But we'll obviously keep an eye on that, keep updated. And yeah, we move on to the next topic, which is a little bit of some positivity. Obviously, us on the panel here on the show, just across Chelsea fandom in general, have been very critical of the recruitment, rightly so. But despite all the negatives and, some of what we deem pretty useless signings, pointless signings that we have no idea what the hell is going on, there's been some shining lights, some diamonds in the rough, some gold and, a spew of nonsense, I'll say. And that goes for a kid that we're really going to see develop this season. That's Egbhali. So I'm probably going to do a little Chelsea hour in the future, just talking about Egbhali and just kind of blowing up his praises. But I wanted to bring this up because during the international break, we found out that Egbhali, who again is only an 18-year-old kid, plans to launch a social institute in his hometown of Brazil. It will offer programs free of charge in education, health, sports, etc. It will serve around 3,000 children, reports Get Globo, the outlet. I think the reason I bring this up is because not only is he a good player, these are his stats versus Premier League wingers per 90 this season. He's pretty much across the board killing it in so many aspects. But I bring it up because I genuinely feel that this kid is going to have more of an impact, or I'll even say like more of a legacy in his career than Lamine Yamal, I'll say right now. And I'm not trying to bring down Lamine Yamal. I'm not trying to say he's not a wonder kid. He is a wonder kid. He's a very amazing talent. I just do feel like he needs guidance right now. Whereas Egbhali, you're seeing all the things he's doing. You're seeing all the stats he's breaking, all the records he's setting, how Brazil just look at him as the next one. Like he is what he's our Neymar, he's our Pele, he's our, it wasn't too long ago where his nickname was Messinho, right? And he's now asked people to just call him Egbhali. Please, I just want to be Egbhali. And he's just so fucking humble. And I feel like, much like Cole Palmer, we really landed a good one with this kid. I know it's still early doors and things could go left, but I don't know. Like, Scott, do you think things are going to go left with this kid? Like, how do you feel about the projection of Egbhali? Like, to me, it just feels like the only way is up with this kid.
Yeah, like, he has been amazing. Like, the one thing I don't want to do with him, which I know is hard for football fans in general, right? This isn't just a Chelsea thing, this is football fans in general. The one thing I don't want to do is go too far with how good he is.
Ballon d'Or winner kind of thing, right?
Yeah, like it's a hard line. It's a hard line to toe because I don't want to go too far, but I also don't want to feel like I'm underappreciating him or trying to devalue him.
Yeah,
because
we see the talent, right?
100. That's the thing. He's talented. There's no denying he is talented. Like you can already see there's a player there. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to start doing that. Oh, this guy's going to be as good as Yamal, or this guy's going to start competing with Yamal, or this guy's going to compete with X player. Because We did the same thing as Chelsea fans for Cole Palmer with Saka based on one season. And I always said, I'm going to wait until we see what he says he does in the second season to say whether he's better than Saka. Because that season he was, the season he had under Poch, he was one of the best players in the league. He was better than Saka. But you see with Saka, it hurts to say, because he's an Arsenal player, he's got that consistency of he's done it over a number of seasons. Palmer haven't done that.
Yeah.
You're seeing last season was a massive drop-off. This season was better, was looking okay until we got, actually, no, I say it was looking okay. It was one game, but in the Club World Cup, it looked good. It looked better, I should say. Then he had one game, then got injured. We haven't seen him since. Or no, we saw one game, against United where he was kind of meh for 30 minutes or whatever it was, and then came off. See, that's what I just need to wait. I want to see how he does this season, because we could be speaking about this with Esteval this season, and he finishes. I don't think this happens, by the way. I'm just talking of like a bad scenario sort of thing. He could finish the season not starting a game, only really playing most games, 25 minutes, and finishing with, even though he might have some good performances, not the best GNA and whatnot, and that wouldn't diminish his talent. It just means that he's had a not great season for whatever reason. So I'm just going to wait and see what he does. I want him to do well. He needs to be starting games, is what I will say. I think we've 100%. Seen enough, especially from the bozos on the left-hand side, to say he deserves to be starting games. Even the games he started, like the Brighton game, where he ended up coming off, it wasn't amazing from him, but you could see there was a spark to his game. So I want him to just continue. And I want us as Chelsea fans, and again, I know it's hard. We all do this. I'm guilty of doing this with players as well. I've done it with Josh. I've done it with, I'm trying to think who else, probably Palmer at one point. I've done this with players. But we need to try and not do the same bullshit we did with Mount. He's a much better player than Mount, much 100%. Higher ceiling, but we're not putting him on pedestals that he does not deserve to be on right now.
I think it's funny because I agree. I do feel like I get a different feeling with Esteval, simply because you see Palmer that first season, he comes out and you see him play, and I don't know how to say this without coming off at no point am I trying to imply Palmer is not as good or Palmer is not as talented. I think Palmer has a lot of great attributes to his game and is only going to improve on them. And I think he has, one of his strong attributes is his ability to score, right? His ability to finish and score and, just find himself in dangerous situations to score. So creating chances, right? Even for himself. I think when I look at Esteval, when I look at Palmer, I'm thinking okay, Palmer, if I'm going to count on anyone to score me a goal at this point in the game, 80th minute, 85th, 90th minute, I'm looking at Palmer. Kind of like I look at Salah, right? Okay, someone's going to be clinical. Someone's going to win me this game. Palmer, Salah, those type of players, right? Where nothing too flashy, nothing too untouchable, but give him a little bit of a gap and he'll exploit it. With Esteval, especially at this age, which to me, the most impressive thing is the fact that he's doing this at 18 years old, first season in the Premier League, and he's already showing he's levels ahead of what I initially thought, even probably you or any of us. Maybe even, I think even Curry, who was as big as advocate, probably was cautious about overhyping how he could be as soon as he comes into the Premier League, right? But I look at Esteval and I'm thinking Eden Hazard. The same feeling I got from Eden Hazard, where it's I know you can give me a moment. You can create me a moment that could win me the game versus you could win me the game. Does that make sense? Where Palmer will give me the goal, but Esteval will give me the moment or the whole lead up to the goal. Esteval can carry the team. Well, not now, but there'll be times in the future where I don't doubt Esteval will just carry the team on his back and say, fuck it, I'm going to be here, I'm going to do this, and we're going to win the game. It give me a different feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. I don't know if I am there in terms of, he definitely, you can tell with the way he plays, he's on like, I don't know how to explain it. You can tell the talent is there. Like I said, you can tell that he is a step above at his age than other players his same age group. Like, the one thing that, like, I know I said about comparisons. One player, the people I will compare him to are people in his that have played about the same. You know, so for example, I look at Endrick. I think there's like a year or two's difference, but he looks head and shoulders of Endrick, and part of that is down to wrong team choice for Endrick. But like Victor Roque as well. I think there was a player there with Victor Roque. I think there still is. Maybe it was poor choice of team at the time, but he looks like he's taken to the step up much better than both of those guys did. Obviously, Yamal is a completely different animal currently. Well, maybe not currently because he's injured, but before the injury. But yeah, like, he's going to be special, man. Like, I think you can see, and I think that's the thing. I think the positive thing from his point of view with Chelsea fans is you can immediately see there's that talent. Same with Palmer, you could immediately see it. Like Caicedo's a bit different. He was playing in the Premier League anyway. Enzo was a bit different. You saw a World Cup. Like, I'm trying to think of other players that it was similar to that we bought or had in the team. Reece, I'd say, was one. Like, when he came into the team at his age at right back, it's a different position. So obviously you're looking for slightly different things. But I think you saw immediately the talent level was there. Guys like that. So like, you can immediately tell the talent level is there. Like I said, I'm wary of Chelsea fans on what we do and putting players on pedestals they don't deserve to be on. So I just hope it continues. And like I said, I hope he gets starts. I hope he gets minutes. Like, even if he doesn't get starts, I want to see him half an hour in games. You know, I want to see him against teams of quality. Like, give him half an hour against Tottenham when we play them in a couple of weeks, whenever it is, 2-3 weeks. You know, start him against Ajax, for example. Start him in the cup against Wolves. Like, give him these minutes, because like I have no doubt in my mind he'll thrive off them. Like, he's already doing so well at his age.
Yeah, I think the big tournament for Esteval this season, it's gonna be the World Cup. I think very much like how Cole Palmer and Lamine Yamal really made a statement in the world stage during that Euros. What was it, 2 years ago, right? 2023, 2022. I feel like that was 2 years ago.
It was 1 year ago, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 1 year ago.
Yeah, 1 year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago. Year and some change. Very much like how Yamal and Cole really made a name for themselves in that tournament. I think this upcoming World Cup, because of right now, Esteval is killing it for Brazil. He's like pretty much taking that team by the scruff of the neck and making something happen. Because let's be honest, this season Brazil has not been the Brazil we know. Ancelotti, obviously in the forefront, making changes and trying to bring it back to what it is. But Esteval is in that picture. And I think this World Cup, a lot of people are going to be looking at Esteval, and I think a lot of people he's going to have a good tournament. Do I think Brazil are going to win the World Cup? I don't think so, but I'm sure they'll make it far, and I think Esteval is going to be a big part, and a lot of people are going to start paying attention to Esteval, especially after this World Cup. Very much like how people paid attention to Lamine Yamal after the Euros debut he had, where he was cooking everyone. And same thing with Cole Palmer, where he was coming in off the bench and scoring goals and keeping England in the tournament up until the very end, you know? So I think definitely Esteval is a player that all of us Chelsea fans are looking as another up-and-coming star. And I agree with Scott. Like, I'm going to be cautious about it, but at the same time, like, I know what I really want to feel and I really want to say, and it's like taming no expectations, because at the end of the day, like, the kid's 18. He's still very young. He's still got a lot to go, a lot of experience to earn. But look, he's got a good head on his shoulders, which I'm just grateful for. None of the ego, none of the gold chains, girls, and stuff that a lot of young people get caught up in early in their career, especially when they're making money. This kid's been donating to charity and opening up organizations to help out his hometown, his home country. Like, not only mentally, ego-wise, we got a good head on his shoulder, but the talent's there too. So I'm really happy with Esteval and the acquisition of Esteval. I can't express it enough. Final thoughts before I move on to the next topic, Scott?
No, I think we covered it.
All right, cool. All right, so the next one is a little bit of a frustrating one. We are following this saga, which has to do with the sponsorship, right? So this is a weird one. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is a very strange situation. Not much in terms of. It doesn't feel like there's been much movement or progress towards getting a sponsorship, but we heard more rumors of people that have been involved and interest from companies. So we'll start off with this just to clear up the air. So this is something that I thought was interesting. And I did ask the question and I got an answer. Manchester City has announced a U.S. media collaboration with streaming service Paramount Plus. The agreement will see Paramount Plus branding and content visible across the club's official digital and social media channels in the U.S. throughout the club's 25-26 UCL campaign. The very next tweet was in regards to this. Manchester City's deal does not involve traditional sponsorship, so it was approved by the Premier League, unlike the black deal with Chelsea as shirt sponsor. City's current deal is similar to Blues Disney Plus deal from the last season, extending to Scandinavian territories, which I didn't even know we did. But apparently we have a Disney Plus deal, which allows us to stream over to Scandinavian territories. And I think that's the same idea with Man City and Paramount Plus. The reason I even asked the question is because you guys remember, some of you maybe don't, but here's a reminder. Chelsea tried to get Paramount Plus as a front of shirt sponsor, and the Premier League denied us. And apparently it was a conflict of interest because Paramount Plus does stream football games. They stream UCL games. And considering that the Premier League streams officially through NBC, Peacock, in terms of the U.S. territories, conflict of interest, right? I think the loophole with this, or if you even want to call it a loophole, is the fact that Man City are doing this not in the US, but as a way to extend. Well, first of all, it's social media and other media that they were going to sponsor. Let me just read this well here.
Go
ahead.
Sorry, Marshall. I think it is the US. I think that the difference, the reason why we couldn't do it for our front and shirt sponsor is it wasn't the Champions League. It was the Premier League. So the Premier League is.
No, I'm just saying Paramount Plus does stream the Champions League games.
Oh, okay. No, but I think it's because the Premier League's obviously owned by Sky, and I can't remember what the fucking company is that owns Sky in the US it's
NBC.
It's not. I don't think it is NBC. It might be NBC. I don't think it was though. I can't remember what it was. It might be NBC, but I thought it was something different. Yeah, that company, Comcast. That was it.
Comcast. Thank you, chat.
They obviously didn't want another platform or another streaming service being shown, so that's where the conflict of interest. So because this has nothing to do with the Premier League, and because it's only through, like it's mentioned, their digital and social media channels, and is to do with the Champions League, that's why they can get away with it, because it's not a front of shirt sponsor. It's not going to be shown for the Premier League. That's why they can get away with it.
Yeah. So
that's why it's approved.
Yeah, it definitely raised a red flag to me because I was like, wait a minute, how can you? But it makes sense when you look at it that way. It is what it is. In regards to the actual front of shirt sponsor for Chelsea, though, this is what we have. So there remains an ongoing competitive process for the front of shirt sponsor, with Chelsea believed to have had offers but focused on aligning with the right long-term partner. The club is aiming to strike a deal worth 60 to 65 million pounds per season. Again, that's the price we kept touting. That's the price we kept reiterating. You're not surprised that apparently a lot of people walked away from negotiations after hearing. We continue on. Chelsea continued to run a competitive process for a new front of shirt sponsor and understood to have received several offers, but the club remains focused on securing the right long-term partnership to target deal value between 60 to 65 million, like we just read in the previous post. In addition to that, some reports suggest that the 74 charges facing the club could be delaying the final approval from potential sponsors. Now, it's coming from Nazar Kinsella. I understand Nazar Kinsella comes off as PR a lot, but if there were to be a reason to delay his sponsorship, you would probably say like, okay, this seems like it could be a valid reason as to why this hasn't gone across the line yet. We don't know how Chelsea are going to proceed in terms of the punishments that could happen from this. I believe, as far as I'm aware right now, with UEFA, it's still fines. Premier League has not decided what they want to do yet.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
When did the 74 charges start? Like, when did we get charged?
Like the process? The charge?
Sorry, when did we get charged with those 74 charges? That's better English.
I want to say the news that we were charged came out about a month and a half ago. Okay. I'm just looking through my library real quick.
Okay, that's because what I was confused about, unsure about is probably a better way of putting it,
sure,
is if that news came out before last season. Because if it did, I wouldn't buy that, because then why would teams be apparently, or not teams, sponsorships be apparently interested last season, especially we had a lot of news around January, and then suddenly drop their interest because of those charges. But if they were publicly released, or we were publicly charged, I should say, in the last international break or whatever, then that makes sense. That would make more sense. It
was a month ago, September 14th, when I started talking about it. So maybe a little bit before that. So yeah, a month and a week ago. So, but honestly, they probably knew about this before it was even publicly made. They knew they were going to get charged, and they were in a legal process, right? It makes sense. I'm not I think the biggest issue is mostly the price. But I think I see some validity in the fact that I say this right now. I don't think it's going to happen, but it won't surprise me if it does. Where Chelsea fuck up and they breach the UEFA rule that they were in, and then they get knocked out of Europe, and then the sponsorship doesn't want that, right? Because we're let's be honest, no bias in this analysis. But
I think that would only happen
deadline.
No, but Marshall, I think the only punishment we've had this season, or we're going to have, is fines. I think the removal from the Champions League would happen if this happens next season.
You don't think if in January we go a little too overboard or fail? This is a scenario that I realistically think could happen, right?
I think because I think it's that registration thing, or I think only applies at the start of the season.
Oh, so it would only apply in summer?
I think so. If someone is able to correct me on that, it would be very appreciated. But I think it's like a season-on-season thing. Because I think wasn't it that you had to? What was it we actually got done on? Because I know we had to sell players that we'd registered for the Europa League squad last season.
So this is the part where I get a little confused. Because
was it because we'd broken the salary cap? Was it because we'd broken we'd spent more than the 70% on? I don't know what the reason was.
This is where it gets conflated, because I get confused between, wait, does this have to do with the Roman stuff, or does it have to do with selling the women's team to ourselves, and that didn't count towards that FFP?
I'm fairly certain it was the stuff that it was to do with selling the women's team, because they didn't allow us to register the sale of the women's team as part of okay. So if it's the 70% thing, then actually I don't know if that's going to matter halfway through the season.
Because the thing that I'm worried about,
my thing is
real quick before you go, Scott. I think this is a very realistic scenario where Chelsea are confident that they can sell certain players, so they get ahead of themselves, buy more than what they need to sell in January, for example, which I don't think is gonna, maybe not in January, but in the summer, right? And then fail to sell players because they're stubborn, they're penny pinching or whatever, and then that causes a breach in an agreement where you have now bought more than the profit you made, and you've now breached the FFP. Like I do fear something like that happens, and we get kicked out of Europe.
Potentially, one thing I will say though, with all of our worries on this,
sure.
I honestly don't think we even need to do that much in January. Like, we need one player. We probably need two. Yeah, probably two, and that's it. And I think we've got enough players to sell that you could mitigate this in terms of, like, we only really need a centre back and maybe getting in a mega early. I don't know how you do that. Maybe a loan,
sure.
Which then wouldn't really affect the what's it called, like the PS. It's not PSR for FFP. So the only thing we really need to spend big money on is a centre back, and we already need to sell one centre back anyway, because we've got 6. You don't need 6, so one needs to leave. If it's Tosin or Chalobah, that's pure profit. If it's Badiashile, on the books, we might make a decent profit. It probably only has, like, we bought him for 30. I don't know how many years he signed for. So, like, we might be able to make a profit on him. Fofana, we wouldn't, and we probably wouldn't sell anyway. So, yeah, it's just one of those 3 probably leaves. Then if you brought in another centre-back, another one would need to leave anyway. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you sold Tosin and Chalobah, that's pure profit on both of those. You've also got a couple of other players you can sell. Say you managed to get a sell from Disasi, great. Who else have we got in there you could sell? Who didn't we sell in the first window?
Probably Badiashile when you think about it too. In the summer,
he would be the other centre back you sell if you, like, kept one of Tosin or Chalobah. That's the only real need we have in that window, and I'll be honest, even if you could argue, maybe we need a striker, maybe we need this, maybe that, the only target you should be going and spending the majority of all your money on is a top centre back in the January window anyway.
Much agreed. Yeah,
like you shouldn't be touching. I don't want to see a single other player come through the door until that centre back is touched. Like, because you don't need anything else. Like, we don't need we don't need another winger. We don't have room. Okay, we don't have room for another winger. We don't need another midfielder. We probably need another striker, but, like, unfortunately, that's probably the second priority. We're fine on fullbacks. So yeah, like, just goalkeeper we need, but they're not going to get a goalkeeper. Like, the most they'll do is probably sign Magnan on a pre-agreement for the summer. They're not going to get anyone in the January window. And again, I wouldn't, as much as I want a new goalkeeper, people know how much I hate Sanchez. I can put up with him we're not winning the league anyway, for the 6 months required to put up with him for, if we actually address the centre back issue. So, like, I actually don't know, like, how much that's going to matter. Bringing it back slightly and tying it into what we were talking about before, all of this shit is a complete moot point if you address the sponsorship deal and actually got money in that way. Because guess what? An extra 50 million on the books is an extra 50 million you can spend on a centre back without having to worry about being in the not in the black, in the red. So,
I do think,
Marshall, before you go on the sponsorship thing, on the money side of it, taking the potential legal ramifications out of it, because I don't know much about that. I don't know how much that is affecting it. Don't want to speak on that. On the money side of it, I find it slightly weird, slightly hilarious that reportedly last season, when we weren't in Champions League, it was Conference League and that was it, with no hope of winning the title, and we're really battling for Champions League. We were looking at 50 million deals in terms of that's what we were aiming for. And the issue is we weren't in Champions League. So theoretically speaking, or not theoretically, but you could make the argument that with Champions League, we can get 50 million deals. We got Champions League and then won the Club World Cup. So they're either really shit negotiators or all of that stuff, again, theoretically, doesn't make the difference of that 10 mil. Because, like, that, yeah, if you were getting 50 mil offers, but now you can't get 60 or 65, something doesn't add up in terms of maybe we're not as marketable a team as they think they are when it comes to sponsorship deals. Or maybe they're not as good as negotiators as they are. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's those charges. I don't know. But it's just the whole thing has been a complete mess from start to finish.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Yeah.
And like I keep saying this whenever we talk about the sponsorship, and I hate that I kind of repeat myself on this. I just hate the fact we leave money on the table. Like, we have so many issues when it comes to like finances, and we couldn't buy this player, we couldn't buy that player. It's one in, one out for this, that, and the other, and you're leaving money on the table. Like, you're just leaving money on the table for no reason, because you're not getting exactly what you want. Like, world doesn't work that way. Maybe you don't get exactly what you want. Maybe you don't get 60, but you can get 55. Just take the fucking 55, because in a few months' time, like, it's going to be January, you're going to be halfway through the season, and all of a sudden those 55 million offers are going to be 27 and a half, because they're only for 6 months now. Or sorry, it's only for, like, say it was going to be a 3-year contract, it's now a 2.5-year contract. So that first year you've missed out on 27.5 million because you fucked around and wanted more and were greedy. So, like, if it all works out, I'm going to come back and look like an idiot and say I was wrong. They managed to work it out. But they failed on the last 2 attempts, so I'm not hopeful.
I don't even think I agree with you on that last part. Like, you would look like an idiot. I think all of us would be pretty reasonable in terms of, like, everything you're saying makes sense.
If they manage to get that offer and it all works out for us, that's what I mean in terms of I'll happily look like an idiot in that case, because it all. I don't think it's going to happen, because what you pointed out is a few things that I vehemently agree with. Like, if you were happy to get 50 mil last season, but you weren't getting it because everyone was saying you're not in Champions League, which is likely the scenario, right? Everyone was saying, we're not going to give you 50 mil, you're not even in Champions League. You went into that Club World Cup not expecting to win it. You just wanted to compete, right? So that wasn't in the plans. Why all of a sudden, now when you do get the Champions League, let's ignore the Club World Cup, right? That's an outlier. But let's just say things go according to plan. You get the Champions League. Well, it wasn't even a plan, right? You weren't planning to get the Champions League, but you get the Champions League. That was the one thing holding you from getting the deal. Now, all of a sudden, you're Champions League. You want to raise the price when the one thing that was preventing you from getting the 50 you were happy with was Champions League. Now you unlock that. You get the 50. You're happy with that. Move on. Now you win the Club World Cup. And obviously, I was one of the ones that also said, like, yeah, that could, you have this logo that says you're world champions. You won the first of its kind in terms of a tournament. You definitely, like, from a Chelsea and PSG perspective, on a global scale, they definitely grew their fan base, right? Because globally, like, it was very much a very globally viewed tournament. So they did expand in terms of networking and fans around the world, but it's not proving to be enough weight for sponsors to go, like, yeah, we'll pay you 60, 65. You have that crest on your chest for 4 years. We'll give you a 4-year deal. And then we'll renegotiate after Club World Cup if you guys are in it again. Like, something like that. And it looks like that's not enough. So I would have been happy with 50, 55. Like, I know it's not my money, but it's like you said, you're leaving money on the table. You might as well mitigate that, considering. We'll talk about it later with the whole new guy coming in potentially, right? Considering you're seeing some of the issues in the team, and you're seeing that you potentially need more money to get some of these players in. You're in a sticky situation with FFP, and it's a situation that you can't fuck up, because if you fuck up a lot of shit, not just the financials for that season. You potentially fuck up the financials for the following 2 or 3 seasons, depending on how long we could get suspended out of Europe, right? So it's just like, why? Just take the money and renegotiate when the contract is up. I feel like it's that simple. It doesn't have to be
the maximum profit every time. You could still make profit and not be as greedy about it. But continuing on to this as well,
I do.
a few
Just sorry,
real
before
quick,
you
just
go on,
Scott. Go ahead. Go ahead.
there's a comment I want to bring up and talk about. If you bring up
Sure.
Taji, I apologize if I butchered your name. His comment. This is facts. Like, there's a reason that the dog shitters Man United have been for years now. Like, for multiple years. Forget last season. They've been shit for years, right? There's a reason why they can go and get a 65 million pound a year sponsorship deal from Snapdragon, because their brand is still huge, because they're still the biggest club in England, because they've built that over time. That's been built over time. That's how you get those sort of deals. You don't get it off of a 1 year success thing. Otherwise, Leicester City would have had the most, after winning the league title, would have had the most expensive sponsorship deal. But they didn't, because it's sustained success and being like in the public eye, that huge club, because you've built that up over a number of years, whether through your fan base, whether it's through winning shit, whether it's through stadium. Like, currently speaking, obviously we have the history of Chelsea. I'm not saying that we don't have that history in terms of we won stuff, but within the last, let's say, 5 years, we don't have the stadium to hold on to. We've got the 11th biggest stadium in the Premier League.
That's a big
success.
factor.
We have some, because in that 5 years, just about, we have the Champions League and we have the Club World Cup. But outside of that, we have a 7th place finish, a 12th place finish, a couple of 4th place finishes, and that's it. Fan base, like, I'm not saying that, like, our fan base isn't one of the biggest in the world. So the things you can use to present your case as we deserve a 65 million a year sponsorship deal currently is the idea that you're going to get to this, you're going to become this dynasty because you've got a young squad that you can build. That's cool, but like, these kind of deals aren't built on ideas. They're built on tangible shit that you can, like, hold on to. Okay, this is a good investment for me because, you know, we're dealing with the biggest club in the world and they can reach people in, you know, Asia and Africa and Oceania and this, that, and the other.
Can tap into other markets that normally we're not in there.
Yeah, or I've got, you know, 80,000 people coming to the stadium every week that's going to see our brand, which we don't have. Or they're going to see our brand when they're lifting up the trophy at the end of every season, which we're not doing on a regular basis. So, like, it's just that sort of stuff. You need to build some level of foundation to be able to, like, you need to build the portfolio. Our portfolio currently is like, this is what we did with this other club or this other team in this other sport or in this other, like, kind of aspect of business, whatever. That's cool. It's not really correlated right now.
Yeah. Chris, did you have something you want to chip in on?
I mean, I picked up half the conversation. Like, I get, like, what Scott's saying with Man United. No, because, like, I joined. I didn't.
You joined in halfway.
Yeah, like, you can't blame me.
I'm taking the piss.
I get it a lot, so I don't know if it's serious or not. But I heard you say, like, with Man United, like, I definitely agree with, like, Man United can always get, like, the best sponsorship of, like, with, like, Liverpool as well. I'd say, like, Liverpool's up there with Man United because they won more Champions League, they won multiple league titles, and they're still continuing their good form as well, of course. But yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know, like, what deal we're trying to get. That's why I'm trying to, like,
apparently 60 or 65 million.
Yeah, 60, 65.
I don't know how many
there have
years.
been interest. Yeah,
that's
still,
why we probably ain't got sponsorship then. It's because we're too picky, and we think we should have 65 million, and we're not at that level. We've not even been at Champions League football for, like, what, 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Wait, is it 3? Yeah, so
2 seasons technically.
Is it technically 2?
Yeah, because we were there for Graham Potter, then Pochettino we weren't there, Maresca wasn't there, and this is the first season back. So this is after 3 seasons.
We had the opportunity to get Jordan, but we messed it up. That was our fault. We didn't get Champions League football.
It was Pochettino's fault, but
well, the owners and the directors brought him in and kept him in that long, so, you know, blame Pochettino, yes, but yeah, like, I don't know, they shouldn't be expecting, like, that high, but unless they don't care about, like, losing money, then yeah, keep going for it if they don't care. But I would sell like on 50 million or something and build from there. Maybe get like a 2-year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you unlocked 50 mil when you got to UCL, right? Like now I feel like because you won Club World Cup, you feel like you should get more, which I agreed with at first, but no one's biting onto it because no one really, I guess it's still the beginning of the seriousness of that tournament. No one is taking it as seriously as maybe Beluco had anticipated. But I mean, I like the brands that we've been rumored with, right? And here's some of the rumors coming from this Lou Class handle, who's been pretty reliable in terms of sponsorship stuff. Chelsea have been approached by a number of global brands about sponsorship, including Red Bull, GmbH. I think that's a brand of Red Bull I'm not familiar with. Oracle, Lenovo, Qatar Airways. As mentioned earlier, in recent months, the club has been in talks with other companies about from technology, entertainment, and airline sectors. The main obstacle to completing the deal is the club's financial expectation, not the FA's allegations of payment to agents. Red Bull currently has 6 Premier League partnerships, including being the majority shareholder and front of shirt sponsor of Leeds United. A £60 million deal is unlikely despite the Austrian company's increased marketing spending. A deal with Red Bull would ultimately terminate its agreement with the Predator Energy brand owned by Monster Beverage Corporation. Oracle was the official sponsor of the Premier League until the end of 24-25 season under a deal worth approximately £10 million annually. This summer, it then announced a 5-year agreement with Red Bull Racing Formula One team. There you go, Chris. Worth approximately $60 million annually. Over the summer, the club held talks with Lenovo, Qatar Airways, and Bank of America, which were also sponsors of the FIFA Club World Cup in the US. In May of this year, the Chinese brand Lenovo and Motorola became a top-tier FIFA partner in multi-million-dollar deal. Qatar Airways had previously held talks, as Sky revealed last year. Chelsea has been on the radar of Bank of America for over 2 years, but for a significantly lower amount than the Blues were expecting. It appears that Hayer will not ultimately become the sleeve sponsor, having secured multi-year deals with Liverpool, PSG, and Al Hilal. They currently have no plans for further expansion into football. Vietnamese company FPT Software previously expressed interest in a larger sponsorship package. So pretty much regurgitating, recycling all the deals that we have interest from, plus some new ones there like Red Bull and Oracle. Not heard of those ones up until reading this here.
Red Bull one I'd heard of recently. The Red Bull one is interesting because I don't know, and this is maybe showing my ignorance on this sponsorship stuff. I don't know if. By the way, I'm going to interrupt myself with a tangent. I saw this sponsorship today because I went shopping and looked in some F1 stuff.
Sure.
This what's it called? Like logo? Fucking sick, by the way. If that was on the Chelsea shirt, fucking sick. This is what I was going to say. I don't know whether a sponsor or a company can sponsor 2 different teams in the same league at the same time. I don't know how that would work, if that's possible. Because they are the primary sponsor. They're the what's it called? They're the front of shirt sponsor for Leeds and have been for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that would work.
This AI generated photo is hilarious.
It looks fucking sick, man. Like, sorry, it just looks fucking sick.
It looks good. Who the fuck is this?
That's
this is
Palmer.
B-Tech Enzo Fernandez.
That's Cole Palmer.
I thought that was João Pedro in front.
It's supposed to be
It's not
João
even
Pedro.
João Pedro.
Wait, that is Joe.
it's
Yes,
AI
I told you.
generated.
Yeah, I told you it's Cole Palmer.
It's just like they blended in Kunku and Malo Gusto.
Who's the guy on the left?
That's supposed
Enzo.
to be Malo Gusto.
That's
Enzo,
meant to be
Malo
Gusto. That's meant to be
Cole.
Enzo. And that's meant to be Palmer at the back.
This
Yeah,
looks
I
like
thought
a
that
younger
was Palmer.
version of who's the guy? Welbeck. This looks like a younger Welbeck. What
They
the
tried,
fuck?
man. They tried. One day, man, AI will be too good, and you're gonna complain that
This
which is
AI
real.
shit. Coco, you say, who the fuck are these guys? It looked.
Bro, I didn't even realize until you started pointing. Until you pointed out the guy at the back. I was like, hold on a second. What?
That's hilarious.
At least they got the glass.
Yeah, that's the one thing I say. I don't know how that would work because like Red Bull,
Yeah.
I would really like. I know some people wouldn't. But a Red Bull would look sick, especially with Oracle as well. I don't know how it would work with Leeds already sponsoring them, unless it was
I thought this was fake until this was
unless
verified.
Red Bull, it'd be like Red Bull Racing sponsors. I don't know how it would work.
Yeah, I like just Red Bull Racing.
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull, obviously, we know they have money in the sports industry. They would be a pretty solid sponsor. But again, I don't know how it would work much like how Scott was mentioning before.
The F1 car, like Red Bull, literally have sponsors everywhere. They definitely have money.
And apparently, Qatar Airways dropped a hint, and this has been debunked by this. In terms of sponsorship stuff, I'm only really taking Lou Class serious. They've been the one that have been pretty consistent about what's been going on with this situation. But listen, we have interest from companies, but we need to come to some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Not negotiation, consensus. Just a meet halfway point, right, with these companies, because the interest is there. It's just a matter of maybe dumb it down to 55 and maybe they'll bite. And I understand the situation with the legality stuff that could play a factor. Even more of a reason to cut the price down. Listen, I know there's legal charges. Because of that, we'll ask 10 million less, right? We'll chop a year off the deal. Let's just do, instead of a 4-year deal, we'll do a 3-year deal, 55 million. Surely there's some way to meet in the middle and just make this happen. Because again, we're leaving money on the table. I feel like it's foolish, especially right now when we have such a constricted FFP situation going on that we just can't fuck with. We just can't fuck with. If we make the wrong move, we could potentially cost Chelsea more money down the line by not being allowed to play in Europe. And I just don't want to even entertain that idea. So better to be safe than sorry in this scenario, in my opinion. Any final thoughts on sponsorship and some of the deals we heard there, or should we move on to a little bit of Strasbourg?
Next season we get one.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope this season, to be honest, not next season, but well, we'll see. Compromise. Thank you. I appreciate Coco for finding words when I can't find them myself. Okay.
I understand.
A little bit of Strasbourg. All right, because I feel like there's some things on Strasbourg I want to talk about, and as of right now, I saw a little bit. I didn't see the whole game. I saw a little bit of that PSG Strasbourg game, and I'm not gonna lie, guys. Strasbourg gave PSG a run for their money. That was a good game. Let's discuss a few things going on with Strasbourg, right? A little bit of rumors, a little bit of ongoings and all that fun stuff. So, rumor right here, according to Sky Sports Leal, RC Strasbourg are among several European clubs continuing to monitor Fabio Carvalho's situation at Brentford alongside Lyon and Stuttgart. Fabio Carvalho, not a bad talent. Things didn't work out at Liverpool. Still playing at Brentford. I don't even know if he's a starter, but I know he's not a bad player. In terms of other news here, Netherlands coach Ronald Koeman's press conference today, this was earlier in the month, in regards to Netherlands, was that he was actually considering calling up Emmanuel Omega, who's also been having a pretty good season despite a few injury woes here and there. Chelsea are planning to keep Emmanuel Omega once he arrives next summer, so it won't be a loan thing, it'll be a permanent. Kendrick Paez was also named Ligue 1 Young Player of the Month in September, so good for him. He's been doing bits over at in Strasbourg. He's been playing really, really well. Another player to really keep an eye on. He's not killing it or blowing up the scene like Egbhali is in that sense, but there's still a good talent there. And if you watched some of the games he played for Ecuador, some of the especially the Mexico game, you'll see he's really like cooking for Ecuador. I mean, he's gonna be single-handedly. I'm not gonna put too much onus on. God damn it, where's RSM when you need him? I can't remember the name of their striker right now. This is the old guy that's still there.
Oh, Ener Valencia.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not looking at Ener Valencia too much. He's still scoring goals, but I'm looking at this kid more than I'm looking at Ener Valencia. He's going to be playing in that World Cup. Definitely one to keep an eye on. But yeah, in terms of him, that's good. This guy is another one that caught my eye. Panicelli. So Panicelli becomes the first player from RC Strasbourg to score 6 goals in his first 8 match days of a season in Ligue 1 since Mark Keller in 1995 and 1996. The man scored a brace in the PSG games and almost scored a hat trick as well. Good aerial ability from him, and he's having a really good season so far in Ligue 1. So don't be surprised if we get linked to Panicelli in the summer or in January in terms of a striker option. I won't be surprised, but he's looking decent. I can't lie. He's been looking decent so far. I'm not gonna jump the gun, but he's off to a good start.
Is he above 25?
That's a good question, Chris. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Let's do a quick.
If he's below 25, maybe there's a chance.
I think he's 22.
22, youngster.
Chelsea might look at him.
Yeah, he's been on fire. He's definitely one to keep an eye on because, again, mind you, I don't think PSG were playing their best. Like I didn't see Pacho in there. Marquinhos
they have
seems
a
to
few
be
injuries.
out.
They have a few
Yeah.
injuries. But
So
they
it
beat
wasn't like
Barcelona.
their
By the
best
way,
defense.
they beat Barcelona with a weak lineup as well.
Oh shit! Never mind.
With
That
no like
doesn't change,
Dembele's
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah. So yeah, this guy scored a brace. If you guys want to, if you want to watch any Strasbourg, watch that Strasbourg PSG game. I totally recommend it. It was a 3-3 high scoring game. Like it was an entertaining game to watch. With Strasbourg having a good amount of chance as well as PSG. So definitely watch that game if you want to get a good glimpse of what's going on with Strasbourg. Also going on with Strasbourg is turmoil between the Ultras and the club, Blue Co. So Chelsea's ownership of Strasbourg was meant to be a sister club success story. Instead, fans are on strike protesting what they call a farm club for the Premier League. During yesterday's match between RC Strasbourg and Angers, so this was before the PSG game, Ultras displayed a large Blue Co out banner which was forcibly taken down. Club management clarified that the banner should not have been allowed in and acknowledged it was an error on the part of security team. So yeah, the Ultras just not happy with being a part of the Blue Co food chain. And we've discussed this before in a previous stream. It makes sense. I can't really hate on it. But a few days ago, RC Strasbourg emailed Ultras and their allies claiming openness to discussing beyond Blue Co get lost, Blue Co out. No response has been received from the Ultras or their allies. So not really much progress. I don't think they're in a place where they want to negotiate or really discuss how we can, mend the bridge going forward. I think the Ultras are pretty much set in their ways. They don't want to be a part of this. They want to be independent of Blue Co. So that's that. But hey, listen, right now as we speak, RC Strasbourg, I believe, are in 3rd place in Ligue 1. I believe. I could be inaccurate. Yep, they're in 3rd place.
Yeah,
only 2 points behind first. Marseille, who 5 games on the trot. Wow. Oh no, they've lost 2 games. Never mind, I died. But yeah, some cool things to see from RC Strasbourg this season. I don't know if panel, you guys want to add anything or any things that you're looking into. Oh, also Barco. Barco has been playing really well as well. Had a really good performance against PSG.
I think
to look at.
I think where I stand with their club is and their players is let them develop there, let them play. Like I see some of our fans doing the same nonsense with Panicelli that they were doing with Omega. Now Omega's a scrub and Panicelli, is the GOAT, is like the next big thing. Cool. We were doing the same thing for Omega after the second half of last season. I see talk about us needing to go and get Barco to play where, because he doesn't play left back for Strasbourg. He literally only plays midfield.
Yeah.
They've got a problem, and I think on the like supporters thing, I just think Chelsea fans are never going to understand where the Strasbourg fans are coming from because we've never been in their position. we have no idea what it's like to be part of a multi-club model where we are essentially a feeder club. Like, that's not even saying that they're obviously like, it's not like they're just being used to, like, they're not being treated well in terms of obviously that they're having good players signed for them. But like, imagine if at Chelsea, like, we bought players knowing that every time we bought a player, every single time they got good, they're just going to be sent to the bigger quote unquote club.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that would suck. Like,
imagine if
Chelsea
Cole
fans
Palmer
are
after that first season went to Real Madrid, like we were the feeder club to Real Madrid.
yeah,
That'd be
that would
horrible.
suck. Like, sooner or later you just get pissed off. And like,
Yeah.
so I understand where they're coming from. Where, like, obviously things are going well for them, and I think with sustained success, they may feel differently. Like, we're starting to see with that report that came out, there might be some level of like a compromise being found. But like I said, we are going to understand or know what it's like to be in their position. So just telling them that they need to grow up, or they need to stop moaning, or they would never have had this level of success before Blueco. Like, that's not where they're fucking pissed. Like, then like, you're completely missing the point and missing the mark of why they're pissed off and why they're frustrated. Also, by the way, this whole they'll, what's it called? They would never be this successful. Like, that's cool now, but what happens in like 2 years? Because we can go and ask Girona how it's going, like a year after getting into the Champions League. We can go ask Troyes how things are going, you know? Like, we can go and like ask other teams who are in the City Football Group how things are going. Like, it can go really well, it can go really bad, you know? So I think, like I said, with sustained success, they'll probably come around, right? And they'll probably come to accept it, and it will end up being good. But there are too many case studies of feeder clubs kind of having one peak year or a couple of peak years and then fading into obscurity or worse, that I think they're right to be aware.
I do
currently.
think.
But I think let's see how it goes with them.
Well, there is that reality. I do think there could potentially also be a reality where Chelsea, because of how much talent they acquire, it will still always be a feeder club, but it won't be like we strip apart the team every season, take away 4, 5, 6 key players to feed into Chelsea and then have to reinvent the wheel. Because that would be miserable for the manager, like Rossignol, for example. Like, no manager is going to want to be at a team where every time you build a system or you build something that even gave you a semblance of success, oh, we're going to strip this all apart. We're going to take away all your key players, and you're just going to have to be happy and rebuild again. Like, no manager's going to want to do that.
I hear that to a point, but 4 of their current team are either current Chelsea players on loan or are about to become Chelsea players.
But that's what I mean.
We know for a fact that we have been interested in Barco before. I don't think it would shock anyone if we signed him.
Sure.
If Panicelli considers at the rate we are, we probably would not shock anyone if we suddenly signed him. There's a report, I don't know how true it is, but there is a report going out there that apparently we're looking at triggering Moreira's buyback clause to potentially sell him on. That is potentially 6 or 7 players in their current squad. And like, if you go through and look at who else they have got in their team that has been associated with Chelsea, what happens if what's his face, Amugu, suddenly starts doing well? And Cisso's another one. We already that's been reported that he's going to become a Chelsea player next season. I don't know if that actually happens, but that's another one. Like, I agree with your point. You hope that there comes a point, and I think this is how it should be run anyway, of like, some players should go to the feed, like the bigger club, quote unquote, but you should try and keep as much core. But we're looking at like 6, 7, 8 players potentially over the next year or so, leaving them to come to us, or our loan players that we've signed that we've sent to them. So like, while I do agree with you 100%,
That's
it
the
doesn't
hope,
look
right?
currently.
If
That's the hope. It doesn't
4 or
look that way
5 years from now they are stable and both clubs can, like, you could still use Strasbourg as a feeder club, but you don't have to pick it apart as much as you do now. Versus, you know, and that hopefully happens down the line where you just have enough talent where you don't need to dip into the feeder club as much to feed your own proper club. Go ahead, Chris.
Have Chelsea actually taken any Strasbourg players without like being a Chelsea loan so far?
Yes. What do you mean by that?
Omega's
Well,
Omega, for example.
What I mean is, like, Strasbourg actually signed a player for themselves and we've taken.
Omega would be that example.
Oh, are we talking?
Yeah,
no,
Omega.
They signed him. They signed him literally the same summer that they were bought.
Oh, so it wasn't.
He was signed the same summer.
Well, Barco right now could be one of those.
No,
players.
Barco, we were interested in him like previously before he went Brighton.
And then the season after, Strasbourg got him.
Yeah.
Because I remember that saga. It was like we wanted Barco for Chelsea, Brighton got him, and then Strasbourg bought.
He didn't play, and then so they signed him on loan with an option, and then they triggered the option.
As of right now, there's not really, because even Mamadou Sarr, we signed the same way we did with Encisa. We're like, we're gonna sign you for Strasbourg, but you're coming to Chelsea next season, and then instead of coming to Chelsea,
they signed him from Lyon, and he just had like a really good. Because that was last season.
Oh, you're right. No, he did sign for Strasbourg.
Last season was his first full season, I think, or was just his first season in general of first team football. So he had last season was good, and then we signed him and then loaned him back this window. This is another thing I was going to say, by the way. With the amount of and this isn't just this is a Blueco thing because they do it with us as well to a point. It's not quite as bad with us, but they still do it with us. They keep like injecting that team with new players, like a lot of new players and a lot of young players every summer window, which like that's part of it in terms of you're lucky in a sense you've got Rosinha and you've got some holdovers like Barco, Sarr being back is actually good for them. Omabandele, who was there last season. Who else was there? Obviously Omega, but he's now leaving. Panicelli probably will be the same as Omega was next season, who like are at least been there for a year. But you can't keep doing that and having this in terms. It's going to end up being chemistry.
It doesn't seem sustainable, really.
It's not like that's not. It's not sustainable because at some point you have a like if you keep injecting that many new players into a team. Like you end up having have the possibility, I should say, it's not always a guarantee, but you have the risk of having like a QPR level season where it's like no one gels together, or like Liverpool are doing now, right? Where it's like no one gels together, no one's like really on the same wave. So,
yeah. Did I answer your question, Chris? Essentially. There's not really that many players. Mamadou Sarr is the only one that joined Strasbourg. We bought him for Strasbourg.
I get like I'd be pissed. Like I feel like I'm trapped as a Strasbourg fan with like Chelsea in a sense. Like I'm worried. Like what time we sign some good players and Chelsea take them. I just wonder if Chelsea actually took any players so far because I don't recall any really.
The only players we've bought from Strasbourg is Sarr. He is literally the only one. But then it will be Omega as the second one. But we are sending them so many players on loan. Like it is a weird one as well because it's a trade-off, right? Because like they're obviously getting players that they may not have had the ability to get previously.
I guess we get
and especially some of the young talents, like there's probably not they probably don't have a chance of an Andre Santos playing for them. There's probably not a high chance of like Kendry Pires playing for them. There's probably not a high chance of like Barco potentially playing for them. But
and Ciso even,
and Ciso as well, But the trade-off is then there's a shelf life on these guys like sticking around because there's always that thought in the back of your mind of these guys have one or two good seasons of like, especially with where they're at, like they're challenging for Champions League place. If these guys have one or two really good seasons, they're off to Chelsea, and that's where it must suck, and that's where I understand the frustration.
No, I get it. But yeah, this is something definitely we're going to be keeping an eye on. Obviously, we're not. It's going to be interesting to see if the dynamic changes, if at all. If we end up the Palmeiras thing, not Palmeiras, it was Santos. There was rumors that we were looking to do Santos as part of the multi-club model. If that does happen, it's going to be interesting to see how the dynamic changes with the feeder clubs and stuff. I don't think it'll change that much, but it'll just be interesting to see what occurs as a result of another acquisition there. But definitely one to keep an eye on. And like I said, people, if you want to watch Strasbourg, watch that recent game against PSG. It was definitely a good game to watch. And Strasbourg, man, they're looking good this season. I'm not going to lie to you. Speaking on the season, let's go ahead and transition over to the injuries. So we got an update. Most of you probably already know Palmer is out for 6 weeks. Sounds worse than what it is, but we're not really surprised. We kind of already knew he was going to be rested until after the next international break. It was rumored before that Chelsea wanted to play it safe with Palmer so that they weren't going to rush him back. They're going to give him these run of games to rest. We should be able to get a result despite having Palmer in the team, and then hopefully see Palmer come back when we return from international break to face, I believe, Arsenal. But okay, so Palmer out for 6 weeks. Breaking news from Kieran Gill here. This is from days ago, before the international break. Breaking, it'll be weeks, not days, not months. And so we are looking at November as the likeliest return for Cole Palmer. The diagnosis is that Palmer has strained groin, but it is not severe enough to require surgery. Cole Palmer is expected to be out of action until November, following the club meeting about his persistent groin injury. We continue on. Enzo Fernandez, another one that wasn't seen on the bench yesterday in the game. And reason being is that he apparently withdrew from Argentina's squad with membrane swelling in his right knee, according to The Athletic. Enzo Fernandez withdrew from the international duty due to inflammation of the knee, according to Argentine FA. However, it is understood that the midfielder had always planned to miss the friendly match with Puerto Rico this week and had planned to see family during his leave. So, one to keep an eye on. Let's see how that turns out. And this is the one that fucking kills me, because after all the stuff that I said about, like, if Benoit can stay fit, this could be the season for him. This could be his season where he can be that guy that we can rely on until Palmer or Colwell comes back. What does he do? Fucking 2 games and then he gets injured. Benoit Badiashile out till December, says Enzo Maresca. I don't know what to say at this point with Benoit Badiashile.
At least he had a good match against Liverpool. At least half match.
Yeah. I'm not just at this point. I don't even know if it's even reasonable for me to say, like, yeah, when Benoit comes back, if he gets injured again, then I'm ready to sell him.
He's a player we shouldn't even have to rely on now. And yeah, we should sell him, but like we shouldn't even have to rely on Badiashile.
It's the fact that he played so well when he went up against Liverpool that was like, oh, that's why you want to keep him. But he can't stay fit.
I don't know what happened, because he took a big break as well, because he wasn't obviously good enough and wasn't getting picked. And
Chris, he literally played 2 games and got hurt again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like, he hasn't really played like a whole lot of games in general the last year or so. What injury is it though? That's the
hamstring again.
Is it hamstring again?
Yeah.
Again, apparently, I think it's hamstring again.
Maybe he needs surgery, but is it really like?
He already got surgery.
Did he?
His
Yes.
hamstring
His hamstring.
His hamstring is just
because Reece James has had like surgery, and we see that's looking pretty good. But I guess if it's happened to Badiashile, and he's had surgery, and it's still looking bad, and he doesn't even play a lot of games. Like Reece James is actually playing back-to-back 90 minutes now. What's good? Yeah, maybe it's just over for Badiashile.
It's so frustrating because if you look at Benoit during that Liverpool game, no, I'm not even looking at performance, but you look at his. The Benoit we saw when he came to January versus what we see now, he's grown. Like he looked in really good shape. Like he looked like he grew more into his body, and he's like built almost like a Konate type, like just a fucking specimen. Like he looked like a menace. Benoit during that Liverpool game. At least this season, what we've seen of Benoit, he looks built.
Isn't he always looked that way? Or am I just?
I feel like in previous seasons he was just tall and a little bit, not scrawny, but he was just tall. Like he was just generally a big person. But I feel like the Benoit we saw in these last 2 games, like it looked like he was as fit as we've ever seen him. Like he really looked built. Like he really looked like he really grew into his body and was a lot more of a physical specimen than prior. That just might be me not maybe paying close attention to Benoit, but he just it sucks because he's gone again for 2 months or a month and a half, whatever. Yeah, month and a half. It's a shame because he really could have been a difference maker. Enzo, I'm not worried about. I'm sure Enzo will come back. Maybe hopefully gets a precaution thing, and same thing with Cole. Like I think Cole, if you wanted to play Cole, you could, but then you'd risk re-injuring the groin, which you don't want to do. And I think Maresca and the medical team really just want to focus on him staying away from
It was Cole Palmer's call, right? That like basically subbed off, right?
Oh yeah. During menu.
So he probably made a good call doing that as well, because it could have got worse then. And it definitely
he should have played,
worse
to be fair.
No, but sometimes he probably has to think he's relied on, like to play, and he just took responsibility. But then he thought, 10 men, he's not feeling in his groin or whatever. So he probably made the right call.
I'd rather this approach as long as he's ready for Arsenal.
Yeah, but is he returning just before Arsenal?
It's saying 6 weeks. What I believe is it's an
When
extra
does Chelsea
6
play
weeks to
Arsenal?
make sure he's really, really good.
Yeah, but if he just returns just before Arsenal, I can't see him starting. He'd come on as a bench. Unless he comes before, comes on before like an Arsenal game, then yeah, maybe he starts against Arsenal. It's just depending when he actually arrives back on a bench.
Oh, I think we actually have Barcelona before we even play Arsenal, to be honest.
Okay.
What's the schedule? Hold on, let me look this up.
Like, is there like a date when he actually does return, or just no real date?
No, but like I said, Chris, I feel like with him, even if he doesn't start that... Oh, wait. Okay, so we come back, we play Burnley, Barcelona, then Arsenal. So he probably will be ready for Arsenal.
If he
probably
like
play
comes
45 minutes against Barcelona.
If he comes for like Barcelona and comes as a sub, then yeah, maybe he starts against Arsenal. But if he comes back to Arsenal as his first game, like he'd be bench. You don't want to start him in your first game back. That's just unheard of, really.
Yeah, I think his injury is not as bad as it was made out to be. I just think we're just being extra safe with him. And same thing goes with Enzo. With Benoit, I think he's done as a player. I'm not gonna lie, not as a player, but as a player for Chelsea. It's just too often, and it's so heartbreaking because at his best, he could be right now our best center back easily.
Egbhali, like in general, or with the injuries we have?
With the injuries we have right now.
Oh yeah, like
even if everyone comes back, the only one that really competes with him would be Fofana, really.
I mean, Cole will beat Egbhali, but.
Well, Colwell, yeah, but that's it.
Let's not pretend how good Colwell was compared to like.
No, yeah, Colwell's good. Colwell's consistent, but I'm saying right now, with not Colwell in the equation, I think if he plays like that, he's our best center back.
I would much prefer it right now, him and probably Fofana.
I also prefer a left-footed, left-sided center back.
Yeah.
I believe Benoit's left-footed, left-sided, so.
I mean, yeah, he's left-footed.
Makes a big difference. So yeah. Unless we have any thoughts on Palmer's injury, Enzo's precaution, and Benoit being out again, should I move on to the next topic?
Yeah, it's just quickly, it does suck with the Palmer thing, but
yeah,
I think we are in a good spot's probably the wrong phrase to use, but like we're not in a position where we're reliant on him at the moment, because of like having other players like João Pedro. Obviously he's not been played in the 10, but I think that's what he should be played going forward. So we have actually managed to like make do without him so far, which has been nice to see. Like we wouldn't have said that last season or the year before. So I think that's a positive.
Yeah, I think very much like you said, it's not like it's good timing, but we're okay, even if it's just like a precaution to make sure you're really, really fully fit. I think we're in a position right now where we can do without Cole Palmer as long as he's getting fully fit with the run of games that we have, and have him ready for games that will be coming thick and fast. Very important fixtures that would very likely suit having a Cole Palmer in the side to get the best results. So we have the squad depth to do without him so that he can stay fully fit. And if he does come back fully fit and we don't have as much injuries as we have people coming back from injury by the time we get through the next international break, then it's a big win for Chelsea, in my opinion. Okay, let me then move on to the next topic, which has to do with everyone's favorite topic, center back crisis.
Yeah.
So let's there's nothing really new to discuss here, just more reliable sources regurgitating the same things we've been saying for the last month and a half since the window's been closed. So Sky Cava pretty much saying here, Chelsea are unlikely to sign a center back in January as they believe they have enough in that position. The challenge is to keep all players they have fully fit, which has been a challenge. A lot of our center backs have been falling like flies. Chelsea looked at the possibility of signing center back Dean Huijsen in the summer, but the only high quality option that was available was Dean Huijsen, who decided to join Real Madrid from Bournemouth. Chelsea exploring signing defenders before Levi Cole's injury in the summer, most notably Dean Huijsen, but we're happy to just add Jarell Hato from Ajax with the view of giving academy graduate Josh Achenbach further chances. Kieran Gill also confirming here, do not expect much movement from this January. Chelsea are not considering that a window for making big changes to their existing squad, which has enough depth and quality to compete over the coming season. That includes in defense, with some of those injuries close to coming back. One can only hope. But again, this is regurgitated stuff. I already said it a while ago. Don't expect anything in January. The last thing I wanted to point out in this segment was the following, is that Fabrizio Romano saying here that Chelsea were approached by many important clubs this summer for Josh Achenbach, for example, Borussia Dortmund, and also English clubs, Bournemouth being one of those, I remember. They didn't sign a center back this summer because they also wanted to give some space and trust to Josh, so Chelsea's strategy was correct. Interesting. And listen, I'm not going to deny it. Of the 1, 2, 3, 4 games I want to say that we've seen Josh, Brighton game is really the only game where I can sit down there and be critical and say he wasn't good. And even in that situation of criticizing that performance, no one was good that day. So it wasn't like single-handedly Josh lost us that game. I think the team as a whole lost us that game. But other than that, he has been good in that center back position this season so far. And I mean, there's still things that need to improve, but that's going to come over the course of time. And even for the things that he needs to improve, he's doing better than the more experienced center backs in that position. I would say in the likes of like Chalobah or Hato or even Tosin. I think he even gives Tosin a run for his money in terms of ability to pass out the back and at least progress the ball forward and, get into those attacking spaces for the team. So I think Achenbach, as long as he keeps getting minutes, I think he'll do well for us. Is he going to replace Colwell? No, but it's like I see where Blue Co is coming from in terms of, oh, you have players you can play and make do until whoever comes through the door, right?
That it is no, just no. Just no. Our best centre back is a 19-year-old.
Hey, Scott.
We're a top 4 team, and our best centre back is a 19-year-old who wasn't starting games on a regular basis last season. Like,
really decent. He played a handful of games though. Doesn't mean
mostly
much,
in the Conference League.
Yeah.
Mostly in the Conference League. In the league, he started or played like 4, I think, 5. That's currently what we're relying on. The nonsense around the centre backs is just that, it's nonsense. Like just the insane amount of PR and bullshit that we have to hear on a daily basis or weekly basis about the centre backs, about how we're not going to buy centre backs because they trust the depth. Our depth so far, our centre back core, if you will, we have 6 of them. 1 is injured for basically the whole season. He's a write-off. That leaves 5. 2 of them are incapable of playing more than 3 games together, or in a row. Sorry, that leaves us with 3 you can rely on. I'll say again, one of those is 19. The other 2 have been the worst players in the team so far this season. You can make the case for, but our centre backs are fine. Like it's a load of shit, is what it is. It's a complete load of shit.
Prime, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Scott, maybe you shouldn't be saying about he's our best center back. You know what happened last time you said that about a player.
Jesus Christ.
Don't get me.
The Scott jinx? Are you saying Scott's a jinx?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it was
not
only
the
like a month ago, Scott was talking about Achapong not being ready, and now he pocketed the most expensive striker in the world. So.
Remember 2 years ago when Scott wanted the Chelsea fan base to suffer, and now look at where we are.
We did suffer, to be fair, so you know.
Is the soundboard loud? I don't know. Is it louder than usual? I haven't changed any settings.
I mean, yeah, it woke me up.
It woke you up. You were asleep?
Yeah.
Listen, it's been slow news cycle. I get it, man. It's a little boring.
No.
Wait, is it louder than usual?
It didn't sound it.
Remember,
It's a little bit loud. I thought.
Remember when Scott didn't want us to start Hopper?
I don't think Scott ever said
Wait,
that.
wait,
I need
wait.
to
No,
go back.
No,
I'm pretty sure Scott never said
Joking.
I don't want to sell Hopper.
I thought Marshall would press the soundboard before he. Yeah. Right. Anyways, but yeah, with the rest of it, yeah, there's a special spot reserved in hell for these sporting directors. But hopefully, this guy that we got, this Balos guy, hopefully he can control things.
Oh yeah, we'll just definitely talk about him.
I don't know why we didn't just sack him. Instead of sacking them, he spent more money on another guy. So
yeah, you had to add another cook to the kitchen. There wasn't enough cooks like in the kitchen. There wasn't enough cooks cooking the broth. You had to add another one.
Yeah, we'll definitely. I definitely have that as an upcoming topic in a moment. So we'll definitely talk about that. All right, let's actually move on to talking a little bit about this FFP bullshit that's happening. Right, more information has come out in regards to that, or at least more things to clarify how our situation. Maybe paint a picture of the situation for those that maybe don't entirely get it, but I don't think there's much news here either. Okay, the first tweet I have here is from The Athletic. While revenues are growing again as a result of winning the Club World Cup and a return to the Champions League, Chelsea still need player sale profits to aid the bottom line. It's highly likely they will continue to be active sellers in the coming seasons. In fairness, the plan appears to be to continue with high player turnover and use transfer sales as an extra income stream, much as Chelsea have done for many years now. Whether they are able to do it to the level they need remains to be seen. Chelsea are reigning UEFA Conference League and Club World Cup champions, so we'll doubtless say they're winning on that front too. Whether everyone else agrees, especially relative to how much they've spent and the legitimacy of the latter tournament in particular, is a bigger argument. The settlement agreement with UEFA places limits on Chelsea's losses under the football earnings rule across each of the next 3 seasons, with those campaigns each assessed individually. In terms of impact on transfer business, Chelsea still need player sale profits to aid the bottom line. It's highly likely they will continue to be active sellers in the coming seasons, which is what I read earlier. So, my only concern with this is that we're just going to turn into a flip for profit model, which I've always had the fear of in the back of my head. Yes, they've proven me and a few other Chelsea fans wrong in regards to what could have happened with Santos. Santos ended up staying. People rumoring, oh, we're going to flip Palmer. Palmer now being on a longer contract than before. Not giving into demands or requests for Enzo Fernandez. He stays at the club. Even not too long ago, worries about selling Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill still remains in the club. Same thing with Reece. Reece is pure profit, but he still remains at the club. So I always do get worried about that becoming that model of like, we're just going to buy a bunch of players, see which ones do well, and then the rest are just flip for profit, which we've seen this past window. We flipped a lot of players for profit. But yeah, I'm in between a rock and a hard place with this because I get it. It's a shitty situation, FFP and all that stuff. I feel like there's a lot of FFP and PSR rules that really inhibit a lot of clubs, but it goes without saying that Chelsea did this to themselves, and you kind of have to dig yourself out of this hole. I can't feel that much sympathy for you when you're the ones that didn't do the research and looking at like, yeah, they didn't approve of us selling our women's club to ourselves. I feel like somewhere in the rules, you pay these guys thousands, maybe millions of dollars to do a job of being financially literate, reading all this political jargon and reading all the rules and the finance rules in this world of football. And for you to overlook that and be in this situation seems amateurish to me. But yeah, this is pretty much clarification of the whole FFP situation. What were you going to say, Scott?
I say on the like flipping model, like that's they've been doing that for ages. My worry isn't the guys like the my worry isn't the my worry isn't the guys that like the top guys. Like I don't think they're going to sell Santos or Esteval or Palmer or Caicedo or Enzo, because I do think they want to keep those. The guys they're going to flip are the middling guys, and that's my issue. Is like the top guys you've signed, you keeping them good. Like you've actually done a good job in terms of obviously Caicedo's success, Enzo for the most part success, Palmer's success. I think Santos and Esteval will be successes, but it's everyone else. It's like we shouldn't have to sign 2-3 wingers every season because you can't fucking sign a winger properly. We shouldn't have to sign, we shouldn't have to go into next summer needing to sign 3 centre backs because the centre backs you signed are cheeks. We shouldn't be needing 2 more goalkeepers or another goalkeeper when you've signed 6 because they're cheeks. That's my issue. Is like we're constantly the guys they're flipping are the guys they've signed that have sucked because you've bought shit players. That's the reason we're this buy to sell model, and we're this flipping players model is because the guys they're flipping are just the guys that you signed that sucked. Which like I know that's kind of how some teams work, but they don't do it this frequently. Like for as many players as like Liverpool will sell or they'll buy or whatever, like their hit rate is much higher than ours. Like especially like when they had Edwards, for all the duds that City got, their hit rate is higher than ours. For all the duds that Barca or Real Madrid have had over the years, the hit rate is higher, which means you don't have to sell players quite as much, and means you also don't have to spend as much money. So you can have seasons where like next season, for example, next summer, if you'd done the job properly this summer, we will be going into next summer probably needing 2 players max.
Yeah.
Like next summer, you can make the argument we probably only need a goalkeeper. Actually, no, fuck that. If you'd done properly, we'd have had Maignan. Hold on. You could argue we maybe need Actually, I tell a lie. You can make the argument if we'd done our job properly last summer, we may not need a single actual player in this coming summer window. Because if you sign Maignan and you've got Penders as backup, you don't need a keeper. You might need a backup right back if Gusto continues to shit the bed, but I'll be completely honest. I've never been a Cobham guy, but with the way Gusto has been used, you can't tell me Genesis Antwi from the academy that we've seen like a handful of times, like 2 or 3 games, can't do the same job. He ain't cost you nothing. And with the way we spawn right backs, like that could work. Centre back again, if you'd addressed it in the summer, you would maybe have to buy one new centre back, but it would be like 3rd or 4th or 5th on the depth chart, so it costs you 10 mil max. You don't need to buy left back. Midfield is sorted. Wingers is sorted because we'll have, again, if you'd probably done it correctly, you'd have, let's just say, Gittins. You had to spend money on him. Quenda, Neto, and Esteval. That's your winger core sorted for that season. Obviously, if Gittins is good, if he's shit, you sell him. That's later down the line. But that winger core's okay. That's pretty decent. The number 10s are sorted. Maybe you need to bring in another 10 just for depth. And then strikers, we already know we've got Omega and what's his face, Omega and Delap, and then you probably keep Hugh as backup. So I've just gone through our whole team and talked about you could maybe buy 2 or 3 players, maybe, if they did their job properly in the last summer window. That's how you fix this problem, not by flipping every fucking player you bought. Because sooner or later, you hit a wall with that. Sooner or later, someone goes, "No, I don't want to spend the 40 mil on Garnacho that you bought him for. I'm going to give you 20." And you go, "Well, it's that, or we miss FFP, or we have to sell someone else who's probably better." It's not a sustainable way of working. That's why no other team in world football, does business like this.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say well, the cams anyway. Our only cams is Cole and Bernate. Well, Bernate's not here to stay, right? So we really count him.
But I'd say João Pedro then probably moves into that position next season.
Yeah, I mean, João Pedro could do it if we have 2 strikers there. Also with Madueke, yeah, we did flip his price for 52 million, but then we bought Garnacho for 40 million or something, and I don't know what value we'll get back for Garnacho, because every time he starts, I feel like he's just useless and
he's
not
fucking terrible, man.
Every time he's off the bench, I feel like he's a good bench player. Average. And is that really you spend 40 million, 50 million on? No, not a bench player. And unless he works out somehow, he turns a corner in 6 months' time, or something like that, and he starts to look really good. I really doubt, but yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna flip out his price at all. And we got Quenda coming in too, who can play on the left wing, if I'm correct, or I don't know.
He can play both wings. I don't know which is the strongest, but I know he can play both.
See, that's another winger we're gonna get for 30. What we paid 35 million, 40 million for him, and where does that even leave Garnacho or get one of the 2? And we've got Esteval, who looks good. Neto is better than them 2 as well on the left. It's kind of a mess, but
this actually very smoothly transitions me into the next topic, which we're going to talk about some of the links that are going out there that actually seem legitimate.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not gonna feed into too many, there's so many links out there that I'm not gonna feed into all of them. I'm still hearing about this Adam Morton one, that we'll see if there's more legitimate links out there in regards to that. But we'll start off with this, right? Chelsea have money to spend in January, but are currently happy with their squad and would only sign a player capable of taking the club to the next level, quote unquote. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Fermin Lopez remains and will remain on Chelsea's target list for the next years in case he ever decides to leave. Barcelona in deep talks with Eric Garcia over a new long-term deal, and they are confident he will soon put pen to paper. But Chelsea would be open to luring him away should he fail to agree terms. It's coming from Graham Bailey. And we continue here. Marguehi. Now, the situation with Marguehi is an interesting one. For those of you who do not know, we have first refusal on Marguehi, and we also have a sell-on clause on him. So we'll make profit. Is it a sell-on clause? I believe it is a sell-on clause, as well as a first refusal. So we can match a bid that Liverpool were to make, because Liverpool are interested in this player, and see if maybe he wants to come back to Chelsea. We will see. But there is some, I'm sure Blue Co are aware that there's some type of loophole or connection that they can make with this player that could, find him in a situation where they can easily just get him, right? But we'll see. Mark Gay is emerging as possibly one of the most in-demand boss man free transfers of all time. Bossman. There is not a major club in Europe that is not keen. The clubs rivaling Liverpool for Gay has been named as Chelsea, United, City, Tottenham, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, PSG, Juve, and Inter. The slate has been wiped clean with Gay. This is a new transfer. What has been done, said, or bid before is now forgotten. That is what I am being told. Every club wanting Gay has started from the same place. Last year of his contract, things didn't work out for him in the summer with Liverpool because one, Glasner essentially said he'd probably leave if Gay were to leave, and two, they never even found a replacement for Gay, even though actually Disasi was there the whole time. Not to say he's the equivalent, but Mark Gay is a very realistic option. Yeah, Disasi was on the table. Yeah, that's just me being better.
I don't know, Mark Gay, he's even realistic. Isn't Liverpool like close with him? Like,
we have a first refusal. We can match a bid.
With Mark
yeah,
Gay.
but he'd have to choose us over.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
Hey, he's Cobham, man.
Sorry. I just want to.
And he's already in London. So.
Did you just say that they should replace or insinuate they should have replaced Gay with Disasi?
Yeah, man. Gay doesn't want to play for you. Just take Disasi, man.
Yeah.
Do you know,
we already know.
Marshall,
Chef Disasi, man.
No, Marshall. Do you know where Gay plays?
Center back, right? Or
Nope.
left center back.
Yep.
Okay. Well, listen. Disasi cooks.
You cook much at home?
Yeah, I cook very well.
Disasi cooks.
All right. Chef Disasi, man. He'll do
Where's
something
Disasi
for
right now?
Crystal Palace. Come on. We can work out a deal, man. Crystal Palace, 3 at the back. Disasi could do something.
They don't play back three.
Yeah, they do. They have a back three
Yeah,
system.
They play a back three, but he would have to play left centre back, so he'd play on his weak side as a channel defender. That famously went
Wait,
really
can't
well.
Chris
when he
Richards
did that
play left
for us.
center back?
Marshall,
Maybe he can't.
okay.
I don't know.
No,
It's also
Marshall,
Chris
okay.
Richards. I get it. It's not comparable.
Marshall. That's kind of a moot point. He'd still be playing as a wide centre back, so he's after the
That's a
defence.
good point.
Bro,
Never mind.
You want Disasi, so you're telling me you want Crystal Palace fans to accept Disasi turning like a truck and like trying to defend wide areas?
Yeah, man. Proper get stuck in Brexit football, man. Pound your chest, make a good tackle. You know, that's the kind of attitude Crystal Palace need. I can't take myself seriously. Yeah, listen. I mean,
that's insane work.
Crystal Palace failed to get a center back in the summer, and they couldn't replace Gahey, so Gahey stayed.
Yeah, they tried to get one, to be fair, but it fell through.
Yeah, but listen, I gotta admire Mark in the situation. He's been really professional about the whole thing, which is great. We don't really see much of that. He could have down tools just like Wisa and Isak. No, he didn't. What were you gonna say, Chris?
No, I was gonna say like Isak definitely dropped his tools and said, I don't want to play for you no more. So
yeah, but Gahey's on his last year of his contract, so I don't expect him to stay at Crystal Palace. I think Chelsea could be in this conversation.
I mean,
but there's
we
also
might
other.
look, but I feel like we might be too late for this.
Yeah, I just think he goes to Liverpool.
I don't think it's too late though. I mean, I agree.
Yeah,
I do think he goes to Liverpool, but we've been linked with him since at least last January.
We have, but like I think if we were going to get him, it would have been the window just gone. Like with how close he was going to Liverpool, that Liverpool interest isn't going to go away, and you see the calamity that is their defense currently. Like Konate may be leaving, and the fact that like he's been terrible this season, but he was their best defender today. Van Dijk, honestly, like the fall off that guy's had has been monumental. Like they need Gahey, and he's going to go into that team guaranteed a starting place, which I hope we guaranteed a starting place for us as well, but guaranteed a starting place in a team that with the right additions, not right additions is probably the wrong word considering what they've just done, but like they're in a spot where they could potentially win a league title. We are not right now. So like the what we're basically hanging on with Mark is him being from the academy, him being a Chelsea like lad, and this, that, and the other. Like that's what we're kind of relying on.
Mm-hmm. You know what? But this goes back to what you guys were saying before, right? Where I agree. I feel like this summer we didn't have. Oh, I wanted to ask you this, Scott. Prior to the Levi Colwill injury, were you thinking we needed a center back?
No, I wasn't like it's a key need. I think in hindsight, it's become one not just because of his injury, because of how bad the injury problems are with others and how bad the others have played. Even after he got injured, I wasn't massively like, oh, we desperately need one. It was when Maresca said we needed one that it was like, okay, if he's saying we need one because the system doesn't work, that was the point. I was like, okay, we probably need one. But yeah, before Colwill, no. But I will say again, it depends on what the plan was in terms of expectation. Like if it's just to get top 4, then no, we didn't need one. Win league title, yes, we needed one. But the type of centre back we needed to win a league title, we were never buying.
Yeah, Chris, what about you? Did you want a centre back before that Colwill injury?
You know, I wanted one. I think
you did.
Yes, I wanted one even when Colwill was fit. I said we needed a guy maybe on the right because I didn't trust.
Yeah, it's not like a gotcha question. It's mostly like
I know.
There were people that were saying like center back as like priority signings, and I did want a center back, but it wasn't like the top of my priority list. It was like, yeah, down the line we'll probably get a center back.
What was the top of your priority list?
The top of my priority list was a left winger, a striker, and left back.
Mine was goalkeeper, center back, striker, then left winger.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say my 3 were in order was striker, goalkeeper, left winger, and we didn't really address any of those positions.
Thought be first goalkeeper.
Well, striker we kind of did.
Goalkeeper was like striker we needed like striker we needed anyone like striker was just a case of we literally needed anyone.
I just
goalkeeper was like we didn't need anyone. We needed an improvement on the moron we had. We didn't get one. And so it was like that. Like it is what it is. Yeah, the striker one is we just needed a striker, like and literally anyone.
I mean, we brought 2 new left wingers,
and they both suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, time will tell with those, but right now the trajectory is
like,
not looking
Gittins
too
at
well,
least.
I'm not gonna lie.
Gittins at least I can have some slim level of hope that he's going to become something. Like the ceiling is there, the potential is there. God, I'm not him.
I think we saw Garnacho's potential a couple of seasons ago, and it just went downhill like last year and a half.
I prefer really not to speak.
He's never had like proper potential. Like, even at United,
when he first broke through at United, I thought he looked pretty good, but then after that, when he broke through, like he went downhill for me, and he's continued going down.
I think it depends on that. Like, it's the type of player he is. When he broke through, he like his potential was like that of like a goal scoring winger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was never creative when he came through. No, he was just going to be a goal scoring winger, but like that's it. And then he never really did the goal scoring thing. So like,
he scored. I think in his first season, didn't he score like 8 goals or 9?
Something like that.
As a young age, like I, if he did score about that many goals anyway, I thought it was pretty good. And then we scored that bicycle kick too, man. That takes ability in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, sure. He's like living off that moment. He actually tried it again last night, and I got pissed off. I'm like, why the fuck are you trying to bicycle kick?
Did he try?
Yeah, yesterday when Neto did the inverted cross,
I missed the first 15 minutes.
Bicycle kick.
Was that
that was around the time he did it. It was like the first 15 minutes.
Oh. I missed.
I was just like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are you?"
I just remember his best moment was him trying to take on a player, him slipping over, the ball bounced off his leg and went onto Kukurea. Hey, at least it was a successful pass.
He was so bad yesterday. It was so frustrating to watch.
He can't start. I don't think he can start a game. He should be bench and impact. That's where
I'd rather jettison him into space, to be honest.
I'm not
Hopefully he's
gonna
got a
lie.
spacesuit.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I'd rather Mudryk. Right now, with the way how they're playing,
has
both of
done
them, I'd rather
better.
Mudryk.
What Mudryk has done at Chelsea at the start, until like
I
he
can't believe I'm
got
saying
caught.
this.
Mudryk's done more.
Yeah, I'd rather have Mudryk in this team as well.
Is he?
I'd rather
I think, as well.
Marshall. I'd rather Gabriel Martinelli in this team.
No, that's true. Like
He's not
he's-
wrong. Yeah.
he's more useful.
Martinelli's having a decent season so far this season. He's actually turned it around a bit.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's
Nothing
all right.
special.
Yeah, nothing special. I agree. Yeah, time will tell with all this stuff. I mean, it's gonna be a very boring January window, but there could be a move in there. One, maybe. I just don't think we're gonna go out and buy anyone. I think we're just gonna recall loans, maybe maneuver some players here and there, Disasi being one of them, and we'll see where it goes. I don't really have my hopes high for the window, but in terms of the whole center back situation, let's see what happens when Fofana comes back fit. Tosin's supposed to come back fit as well, but now like. It was always on my list of like, yeah, I would like to get another like clear cut. This is a starting center back. It wasn't on high on my priority list. I didn't think Cole would get injured like this for as long as he's been injured. And I also thought like, I didn't think the quality of our defenders was this bad. And I say that even though we just have a clean sheet last game, but Sans Postecoglou. But for most of the majority of the season, our center backs have not been that great. Achimpong has been one of the better ones, and he's the least expected to be one of the better ones because he's one of the youngsters and he's one of the most experienced in the team. So it's a little ass backwards right now. So now it's kind of been exposed, and we definitely need to improve on that. As we go on, before we get into the whole topic of the whole new sporting director thing going on right now, the rumors of this new person that's been employed from Liverpool, smash up the like button, people. Helps out the channel tremendously. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you are tuned in and checking out all the content here on Casually FC. We'll be back with more content, obviously, this little run of games before we go into international break again. Let's go into the next topic, which is about Maresca. Before we talk about the directors, let's talk about the player or the manager that was hired by these current set of directors, which is Maresca. And I don't think any of us are surprised, but Maresca is a man in a bit of a demand. Seems to be some rumors of some clubs interested in his situation and looking at Maresca as a potential manager or head coach to take over their team. And we'll start off with the first rumor, which is Juve. Juve, Leverkusen, Red Bull Leipzig, all were in contact in the summer, all very considered by Maresca, and as Simon Phillips reported, he did consider walking away. Juve was closely following Enzo Maresca. There are no negotiations at all, and it is more of a future idea, reports Matty Moreto. Juve currently still employ Mora, right? Is that the manager's name?
Nope.
Did they sack him?
Yeah, it's Igor Tudor, I think, is the manager.
Yeah. So they got rid of Allegri.
They got rid of Thiago Motta.
And they got rid
and
of
then brought in Igor Tudor.
Yeah. So where are they right now? Ooh. Last game today, they lost to Como 2-0. That's not a very good result for them. Juve are currently sitting in 7th place. Como in 6th place. Wow, look at them. But yeah, Juve currently sit in 12th place. Funnily enough, Milan, who picked up Allegri when Juve left them, is actually sitting in 1st. That's really funny how football works. But yeah, Juve are interested in Maresca. We look into some more details. Juventus appreciate and rate Enzo Maresca. He's potentially an option for the future, according to Matty Moreto. Juventus are currently closely monitoring the situation. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca has joined Jorge Mendes' agency Gestu Foot, according to Portugal's Mais Football. So him joining the agency of super agent Jorge Mendes. Listen, his time at Chelsea isn't forever. He's got a 5-year deal. He's on his second year right now. After this, 3 more years. We don't know what trajectory Chelsea are going to go in, but I think most of us can probably safely assume that Maresca is not going to be here forever. He's not going to have like a Pep Guardiola type of tenure. At least I don't think so. Enzo Maresca keeps doing an important job for Chelsea. Club very happy with the manager and their players. So as of right now, no movement, no rumors of potentially sacking him and hiring a new one. So yeah, just rumors to really bring up. People were kind of worried, like, Enzo Maresca's trying to leave. He's trying to get the fuck out of the insane asylum and whatever the hell people were saying in X. But are we really surprised that there's interest for Maresca? I think most of us admit he's a good manager. He's a good head coach. He's just been hindered by...
Wait, what club's interested?
Juve, Leverkusen. There was another club in there.
I mean, if we sack him,
Red Bull.
He'd definitely get a job because he... like in his first season with Chelsea especially, he got us to top 4. He got the Conference League. Okay, fair enough, that's easy. And then he won the Club World Cup, where no one actually expected Chelsea to win it. No one.
Convincing fashion too.
Yeah, I mean, he did it pretty comfortable in a sense. Like, he whooped PSG 3-0 and walked through most of like the games where Man City and Inter struggled to even get out through like the first stage of the knockout. So I don't think he'd be gone from Chelsea anytime soon. I really don't. So I'm not even gonna worry about that, because I feel like Chelsea won't even look to get rid of him unless it goes really wrong. Like we go back like down to like below 10th or something. I think he's doing even a pretty good job considering a lot of injuries we have as well. Like we have a lot of injuries and not many centre backs, and he's warned our owners he needed another centre back and he still didn't give it to him. So he's doing pretty good anyway.
Maybe this is a hot take, but I feel like if you gave Enzo the Arsenal job, he probably would have won the title by now. I feel like he's that good of a manager.
It's hard to say. I think Arteta has done a good job building that squad, but like, I don't know if he can like cross the line. And that's the thing. Can Enzo Maresca cross the line like that? I don't know. I think he's a good manager though. It's like, I don't know if he's like elite manager, like world class. Like I feel like you have to be that level to win it. Really.
I mean, the reason I feel like maybe you and Scott feel that way is because we're seeing what he can do with the players that he's given, and all of us on this panel probably recognize that he's not given the best players. He's given, this is what you got, work with it. You're a head coach. That's what we hired you for.
I mean, look at Ant Slot right now. Last season he had a weaker squad. Won the league convincingly last season. You could say obviously it could have been like a bit like Klopp's system still in place and his team, but now he spent $500 million this season. He's only 1 point ahead of Chelsea right now. He's fallen. With all the like signings he's made, it's looking worse. So I don't know. We're maybe seeing that in the future of Chelsea. Hopefully, what Enzo can do. Hopefully, and just we're not there yet anyway.
Do you think Enzo is? Do you think Enzo's just being held back from his potential because of the signings we have?
Yes and no. I think he definitely is to a point, but I do think there's obviously some times where he is causing his own problems. So yeah, it's kind of hard to judge sometimes. I think, yeah, I don't know.
This might be a hot take. And this is just kind of tongue in cheek, but I have this feeling that like Maresca is like developing to be like an Inzaghi type of manager.
Style?
Maybe not style, but like he can go into a team, he can make whatever team you have in front of you work and accomplish what it needs to accomplish.
There's more than just Inzaghi can do that. Even Tuchel, he made the best of what he had at Chelsea and turned it around and got us back into top 4 and won Champions League football, the Champions League. So I think there's a lot of managers who can do that.
That's why I said it was a hot take. It's very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I like Enzo Maresca anyway, so I got not much wrong to say about him. Like I like his attitude. I do like his style of play. He can be a bit stubborn at times. Like he can have his faults like most managers, but he's done a lot better. And the two managers we've had by far, a lot better.
Scott, any final thoughts before we go into just director guy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Let's go into it then.
Yeah, as in I'm happy
go
to
ahead.
go. I don't have anything else. So.
All right, I got you. Okay, so yeah, Enzo Maresca. Listen, he's not going anywhere, but hey, the rumors are there, and it's no surprise. Like Juve, I mean, he's an Italian manager, Italian Serie A. Like it makes sense. And considering where Juve are right now, I think someone like Maresca could help them out considerably. Also considering how Juve are kind of building their team. I mean, they are promoting youth, and we know Maresca works well with young players. You know how he's played the most young players of any of our Chelsea managers since he's arrived, and rates Reggie Walsh and knows about the youngsters and the under 21s and stuff like that. So yeah, he can work with the tools he's given, and that's a situation that probably suits Juve. But okay, let's go into the next topic, which is, probably one of the bigger topics that just dropped yesterday, actually, and that's in regards to a potential new director in the boardroom for Chelsea. This is gonna be an interesting one. So we'll see how this plays out. But as of right now, this is the info that I have, and we'll discuss it. So, Chelsea in talks to appoint David Follows to senior sporting leadership role. Ex-Liverpool director left LFC last October, likely to join Chelsea to work with existing execs on areas including scouting, player pathways, and football development. Ornstein also saying that Follows helped Liverpool install a data-led approach to player recruitment and oversaw the signings of crucial modern Liverpool figures such as Firmino, Mane, Salah, Robertson, and Alisson. We continue on. Sam Wallace of The Telegraph reporting that David Follows, the celebrated former Liverpool recruitment expert, is set to take up a similar senior role at Chelsea. He has been approached by Egbhali and his fellow investors to join a well-resourced recruitment team at Stamford Bridge. He is expected to have a range of duties, including scouting and data, player development and pathways and loans, which would be a big bonus, football operations as well. The latter is expected to include recruitment of coaches and staff as well as players. Dave Follows' responsibilities at Chelsea would be expected to include scouting, player pathways, football development. He oversaw the signings. Okay, we're ready to read this. And the new structure would include Dave Follows, Warren Stanley, Lauren Stewart, Shields, and Sam Jewell, all part of that directorship. And I don't know how legitimate this is, but I did hear rumors that this season, depending on how things go, there has been a bit of a butting of heads in terms of some recruitment and some scouting options with Win Stanley and the rest of the board. So potential rumor that Win Stanley could be replaced by this guy. That's just a rumor. We'll see if there's more validity to it in the future when more reports come out in regards to this and the progress on this. Nothing official yet, but it looks like we are interested in getting another, I guess, in some ways to look at it, another cook in the kitchen. So, listen, this would be one of the directors and one of the signings in terms of boardrooms that I would approve of. We know what he's done. He has experience, and if his role includes player pathways, which is one of the biggest complaints that Scott said, I've said it, Ahmed's mentioned it, like what is the plan for some of these players, some of the loan options we've seen for some of these players go to, even looking this season so far, the loan option of Mark Guiu earlier in the season, how he's worked out so far, that was in question. I'm sure there's other ones there that I'm missing right now that were odd loans, but regardless, I digress. Right, and the other thing that I thought was interesting was this other role that apparently he is expected to have a range of duties, including scouting data, player development, pathway and loans, and football operations. Which one was the one? I thought I saw something where he would also oversee the staff as well. These approaches, fellows, investors join the web resource team. He's expected to have a range of duties, including scouting data, player development, pathway, and okay, the latter is expected to include recruitment of coaches and staff as well as players. So that's an interesting role in my opinion. I think that's going to be important to get some. I don't know how much of the staff that includes, like people like the likes of Joe Shields and maybe Win Stanley. Maybe he's a seniority over these guys. I don't know. But it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to look at. Naval Nation 2, thank you so much for the £5 donation. As long as he replaces Win Stanley, because I think he's fucking useless, and put him back to his original role. What was his original role? Do you know, Scott?
His original role was sporting director. It's all he's ever had for us. He's never had anything different.
Unless Naval Nation you're referring to... he's another £5 super chat. Thank you so much. He should have never been out of his role. I think it was just a recruitment. He was a recruiter at Brighton, right? Like a scout. And then he got promoted to director. I don't remember what he was. Yeah. But I mean, Scott, what do you make of all this stuff, man? Because it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of movement in terms of in the boardroom level, which I was surprised they're going to do more of this, to be fair. But yeah, what do you think about all this?
I don't care. Like,
really?
Especially not at the moment.
I thought you would care because I thought you would see this as a chance for maybe some to rattle the board a bit and maybe get some movement going.
That didn't happen when we got Shields in. It didn't happen when we got Jewel in. It's not going to happen now, at least not anytime soon. Like, it's just another cook to add to the kitchen. He could be good. He could be bad. I don't know. The thing that I don't like is the PR bullshit of like, oh, he was responsible for them signing this player and that player and all this and that. I thought that was Edwards. I thought that was Julian Ward. Like, in the same way that when we signed Win Stanley, it was, oh, he was responsible for all of the players that Brighton signed. And then we signed Sam Jewell, and it was actually him that was responsible for all the players that Brighton signed. But then they've lost both of them, and they're still signing the same type of players that they signed previously, because guess what? It was neither of them that was responsible. They had a hand in it, but the guy responsible was Tony Bloom, the owner, who has implemented a data-driven system across every club he owns. He also has a company that does the same thing that is currently employed by Hearts to do the same thing. So he was the one responsible. It's just those other guys had a hand in it. So it's the same way as well when we signed Vivell. Oh, he's responsible for signing Haaland and for signing whoever the fuck else they signed at RB Salzburg. But then you did fuck all for us. And you didn't want to listen to him anyway. So... And he was responsible at Chelsea for bringing João Felix to the football club, and Noni Madueke and Nkunku. They all turned out fantastic, by the way. And the same way that Dan Ashworth was responsible for all of the good that Newcastle did, he went to United and did nothing. Like, I'm getting sick of the PR nonsense. Like, he may end up being good. This is nothing against Fallows. Like, he may end up having, like, being really good, and I hope he does, because then if he does a good job, we get him better players. Hopefully it means that we see less of Win Stupid and the other moron as well. Like, hopefully they end up getting like relegated in terms of their roles, but that remains to be seen. That's further down the line. Right now, it's just like, I just don't give a shit. Because like...
big up Naval Nation. Pretty much iterating what you said. They both need to get
everything that we're seeing now is a carbon copy of what we saw when Sam Jewell came in. Like, everyone was like, oh, he's going to work above Win Stanley and Stewart. It hasn't changed anything. We still sign the same level of players that we did previously. They still have just as much power as they did previously. He just oversees everything now in terms of he also does the recruitment for Strasbourg. I just don't care right now. While those two morons are still in a job, if this had been preceded or followed by an announcement that both of those morons had lost their job, I'd be over the fucking moon. He could almost do no wrong. But
we'll see. I mean, listen, as much as I agree with you that I want these, I'm not a fan of these directors, and I feel like they've recruited mostly bad than good. Yeah, I mean, they've had some good ones here and there.
Oh,
Obviously, we
that's
talked
actually a
about
good point. Just on the he might like replace the other guys. They just gave him new contracts. Literally in the summer, they gave them new contracts. So, as Conjuran says, why would you give them new contracts, raise their pay, to then go and get this guy that would replace them? He's not going to replace them. He's going to work alongside them. Like it's going to be, like I said, it's another cook to the kitchen. It's going to be now a 5-man team because you need 5 people to try and sign players, don't you? I guess.
The thing is, like, it's just for me, in terms of if we do get rid of these directors, I'm not saying we shouldn't. There is part of me that worries that the ones that come afterwards could be worse, which I hope isn't the case.
I don't know how much worse it could be, I'll be honest.
Could be United, United or West Ham. There's some bad recruitment out there that...
No, but Marshall, West Ham don't have a sporting director. Their sporting director is their owner. Like, if it gets that bad, like if Egbhali suddenly becomes a sporting director, I just might stop watching. I just might just give up with the sport, to be honest.
Yeah. So
like, I don't think that'll ever happen.
I think it's one of those things, like, careful what you wish for. But I feel like if anyone were to take over the mantle, I would trust this name, Dave Fallows, more than anyone else, really. Well, I can't even say that, but like, of the options we've seen, I could trust him. But I don't even know what his role is going to be, and until we know, it's hard to say really where this is going to go. I hope, and it kind of looks like it could be, and even then it doesn't really make much sense, that he could be the guy that oversees both of them in terms of who they recruit, who they sell. Sam Jewell, I feel like, is responsible for all the multi-club network. So
and I thought that was both. Joe Shields, was it not?
I think Joe Shields is only in charge of academy recruitment.
But he was responsible for us signing Palmer and Lavia, and that, wasn't he? Like, this is where, honestly, like, this is a separate conversation to a point. But this is where the, like,
scouting. It looks like he's in.
No, this is just where that, like, we've got. You've just created random ass roles that don't exist.
Chelsea director of professional football and scout. That's his role out of Chelsea right now. So he's like the head of scouting, which is different than the head of recruitment. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like what you're saying. We're just making up roles now at this point. Like, I understand having like a corporate ladder to an extent, but I don't know. I already kind of didn't like the fact that we had 2 recruiters or 2 sporting directors. You could have just dumbed it down to 1. Now we're adding another one in the kitchen, whose role I don't know is to oversee or to work as a 3rd director. Like, it's just a very strange thing. I don't mind the name. The name sounds nice, but what's the real plan here? Like, are we trying to get rid of one of them? Are we trying to oversee them? I don't know. Like,
the plan,
one can only hope it makes sense in the long run. Yeah. There probably is a plan, but I just don't know what the fuck it is. So we'll see. Time will tell with this one. It's definitely one that popped out and caught the interest of a lot of people. I think a lot of people are holding on to hope that this can be the contingency plan to get rid of Win Stanley or Lawrence Stewart if things don't go well this season, because I think the ownership is smart enough to understand where the issues are to an extent, right? Obviously, they don't get into the data, they don't get into the nitty gritty. So if this season doesn't go according to plan, I'm sure they will see some of the mistakes made by recruitment and highlight that, and even recruitment will get an assessment at the end of the season. At least one could hope. I think they got away with one last season due to Enzo Maresca overperforming. Yeah, but it's an interesting one. Naval, thank you once again for the £10 donation. I really appreciate it, my friend. It's clear they're struggling. We've been saying they can't even pull off doing loanees and signing the right players. Unfortunately, it makes sense though. It makes many cooks, but you blame the ownership for it. You know what, Naval? This is a good point, and I will say, like, I'm sure, Scott, you probably agree with me on this. I'm sure the ownership are looking at some of the moves that, let's say, I think Lawrence Stewart is in charge of the outgoings. They're probably looking at some of the loan moves that were made. Look at, for example, Datro Fofana, David Washington, Caleb Wiley. Some of these outliers that we picked up, we heard of, and their development has stagnated. And I'm sure the owners are looking at them, seeing like, okay, we invested this amount of money and the asset is now, depreciating or losing value, depreciating. I think that's the right word, in value because you gave them the wrong loan, or we paid too much for this. I'm sure that's part of what's being assessed and maybe part of what's leading us to, go for someone like this. Because maybe Cassidy, big example, right? We ended up we made like what, £2 million profit on that player. A player that was touted to be the next big thing for Italy ended up only making £2 million of profit. Didn't end up working out at Chelsea. I think that's failure on the recruitment and on, Win Stanley and the directors for not having a good plan. Maybe something to mitigate that is a part of why we're hearing these links. I don't know, just spitballing. Speculating and spitballing. It sounds reasonable though. I think. I don't think, like, again, as much as we want to say there's no plan and all this and that, I find it hard to believe that these guys make their money without some sort of like well thought out strategy and plan. I understand they don't necessarily know football culture as well as maybe other directors would, but you don't make $1 billion being an idiot. You don't make $1 billion just stumbling upon it. Like, they made their money somehow. They must have a plan, and I don't know. I'm sure they could look at some of the moves that have happened at Chelsea in the last 3 years, especially under these directors, and kind of jot them down. Like, these are some cons, but overall, from my perspective, if I'm speaking on Egbhali or Bully's behalf, from my perspective, you've been overall a success because trajectory's been up and up. But I don't know. That's just speculation, food for thought. I think, unless Scott, you have anything to say, I think this is something we're going to have to put a bookmark on and see what happens in the next upcoming weeks, or maybe even the next international break, to see where this whole update on a sporting director news goes. But yeah, Scott, do you have anything you want to add, or move on?
No, I like I said, I'm just not hyped for this right now. I want to be proven wrong. I want him to do an amazing job. Like I said, I've got no faith right now.
No, fair enough. Yeah, it's clear he needs help because obviously they've been put in roles they've never done before, and if they have, they're fucking shit. I think inexperience has shown its ugly face in the recruitment. But again, I go back to what I said earlier. Like, as much as we want to say, I would say for the most part, we've had a lot of signings that have just not led to anything. There's been some good hits in there. You look at Cole Palmer, you look at Caicedo, you look at Enzo, you look at Estevao, so on and so forth. There's been some good hits in there. But just us as Chelsea fans and our standards, I think we expected there to be better recruitment, especially us as fans when we see talent and it's being overlooked. But hey, we'll see how the season goes. We'll see how these directors go on about. All right. A few more topics before we call it a show. Big up to every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to smash up the like button if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And big up to every single one of you who are in the chat, participating in the conversation and tuning in. I know international break is finally done. We're back to Chelsea. So yeah, talking about some news here and there that has come up and some interesting topics. But yeah, like I said, we do this show weekly, so we'll be back here next Sunday to talk about any other updates. But let's go on to one of the few final stories that we have here to discuss, and that's going to be in regards to Mark Guiu. So Mark Guiu pretty much set to stay. A few rumors that were going about Mark Guiu before his appearance in Liverpool, and it goes as follows. So Andy Dillon reported that Mark Guiu is becoming increasingly fed up at the lack of game time at Chelsea following an emergency recall and is eyeing a loan return to Sunderland, which now looks like the only option for him if he were to go back on loan in January. Players can only turn out for 2 different clubs in any one campaign, so there are no rules preventing him from going back, according to Andy Dillon. Mark Guiu has yet to play a minute since coming back. Appearing for Chelsea would mean he would not be loaned out again in January because you cannot play for more than 2 clubs in a single campaign. That surely has to be a factor, even though it's not ideal for the player's development, which we all agree and are very well aware about. He did play against Liverpool though, so that means that there's no plans to loan him out anywhere except for Sunderland in January. Enzo Maresca on Mark Guiu's development being risked. He said, "I don't think so. He is back with a big club like Chelsea. Again, he's going to get minutes with us, no doubt. The development for a young player is not all about games. It's also about training. He is working with us." And then the final tweet I have here is Mark Guiu will be staying at Chelsea for the whole season, according to Sky Cava, and it looks like I just, Scott, I think you mentioned it, or it was Ahmed, I mentioned it yesterday, that Sunderland already got a 3rd striker after Guiu left, so there's no point in bringing him back to Sunderland just to be a 4th choice or one of the 4 choices. It just doesn't seem right. And now he's playing, and he's playing decently at that. I just hope that this season he plays enough that he can develop and keep growing as a player. And listen, I mean, even against Nottingham Forest yesterday, he created a few chances. Obviously, didn't make the most of it. It is what it is. It happens. But he felt like we had a striker on the pitch again, and he was doing that because he is a striker. So yeah, I'm happy with him to stay as long as he actually plays. I don't know about you, Scott.
Yeah, like I was worried that he wasn't going to play because of the whole I think there was a report that said they were looking to loan him out or sell him in January, which excuse me, that it wasn't gonna, he just wasn't gonna play any minutes because of that thing. You can't play another or any more minutes. But yeah, I'm glad he is playing, by the way, because you can see it positively affects what's his face, João Pedro. And he's a decent striker. I don't think he's never necessarily for Chelsea going to become anything great, but he looks decent. He looks like he's able to do the basics. Yeah, so I'm just glad. What was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say as well. The thing with the Sunderland thing is never happening. Yeah. There's no chance he goes back to Sunderland. He wasn't playing many minutes before when he was 3rd choice striker. They've signed, when they lost him or when he was recalled, they signed someone else who also isn't getting that many minutes. He's probably getting more minutes than he was getting, but isn't getting that many minutes. Why would Sunderland take him back unless it was on a completely free loan so it doesn't cost them anything? Which if they do that, what benefit does Chelsea get from that? There's literally no benefit. We don't get any money apart from we save on his wages, which are probably like 5,000 a week or something. It's chump change in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I'm glad he's playing, and I hope he gets actually some proper minutes going forward.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't even mind if he had a start here and there, to be fair. I'm aware that we have to be cautious and not risk playing him too much in case João Pedro were to go down or something, just to have options. But I think if Cole Palmer plays, if Cole Palmer starts or comes back, you play João Pedro in that 9 and they can interchange and play off that way. That works. But until then, I feel like you could take some liberties, play Guiu from here and there from time to time, and see where it goes. I mean, even There are even some games you can get away with playing Shimuheka, who's been doing really well for himself in under 21s. And we know Maresca does like to give opportunities to youngsters. Whether he likes to play them consistently or play them when we think they deserve more game time is another question. But he at least gives opportunities, unlike other managers we've had. So yeah, I even think like bringing Shimuheka into the mix to get some chances to see where he's at his development isn't a bad shout, especially when we don't have a Liam Delap. But as soon as Liam Delap comes, I think you have to rotate between him and Giyu. Like there's no reason not to. Don't just like have Giyu rot on the bench. Like we have to manage Delap's minutes. We have to manage João Pedro's minutes. Who João Pedro, as far as I'm aware, is still playing with a knock. So I think just because we get players back doesn't mean Giyu doesn't play. I think we get players back, Giyu has to be in that rotation and play and get minutes and develop and show that he can play a part in this team. And I think we'll be fine in the attacking position as long as we keep doing that. Final thoughts on, yeah, okay. That being said, not much else to say on Giyu. I got two more and then we'll call it. Pretty short ones, so big up to every single one of you for tuning in as always. Let's go ahead and just run through these last two and then we'll get on with it. So it looks like Tariq George is rumored to stay at Chelsea, which I don't understand. Let's look into it. So just two quick tweets here. Sky Cava reporting as of October 7th, so a few days ago. Tariq George is likely to leave in January, and then literally the next day, Tariq George is likely to leave in Chelsea in January as he is viewed by the club as a predominantly a winger, and Chelsea already have Pedro Neto, Willian, Gittins, Garnacho, and Giovanni Quenda joining next summer. So I misread this. Tariq George is not staying. Tariq George is leaving. So no news there really. But yeah, it looks like January is going to happen. It was going to happen in the summer. He was linked to Roma, I believe. It was linked to Roma. He was going to go to Fulham. The Fulham thing fell through. Who else was he linked to? And he's not a bad player.
Leipzig, I think.
Oh yeah, Leipzig.
Because that was when we were doing the whole deal. That was when we thought we were doing the whole Simmons thing. As it turns out, we weren't doing the Simmons thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm hopefully he gets a move. Like he needs it for his development.
He's not. I don't even know what's up with him right now. Like I don't think he's injured. He's just not been chosen.
No, he's so far down on the depth chart. He's not going to play, is he?
Yeah.
It's kind of where he's at. But yeah, I think a move is good for him. We also get the pure profit, which is nice. Yeah.
Do you want him to leave on a permanent? I mean, I shouldn't even say if you want him to. I don't think you do, but like, are you okay if he leaves on a permanent?
Yeah, just because like he probably doesn't have a future at the club. Like, I don't see him. He's not as talented as Esteval. I don't think. Obviously, it's a different league. It's a much worse league, but I don't think he's as talented as Quenda. So he's already kind of third on the depth chart. We just signed Gittins, and we've already got like Neto and got like he's just so far down on the depth chart. He's not going to get game time. He might as well go for his own career. So yeah, like if he wants to leave, that's fine. Like, I'm not. He's not one I'm desperate to like keep. Yeah, I'm happy if he goes. Like, it's not I'm desperate to like push him out. I think he needs to leave for his own career.
Yeah, it's not like a Conor Gallagher situation where it's like, please, like just.
Oh yeah, I'm actively trying to get rid of you because you suck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's actually like he's okay.
Bad, yeah.
Like he's got some decent attributes. There's something he needs to work on. Obviously, he really needs to lock down what position he plays. Like I think he is a winger, but what side he plays, we don't really know. But yeah, like, just let him go. Let him progress as a player.
Yeah, I don't think they intentionally meant to keep him. I think just things didn't work.
They weren't going to. They tried to sell him to Fulham. It's just the what's his face deal, the Harry Wilson deal fell through.
Yeah, Fulham.
That's why he didn't go.
Fulham weren't able to get that job done. So, thanks for George. I think he's gonna get minutes here and there because Maresca does like him, but and I'm not that I'm opposed to what's happened, but it's nice to see that Guiu is now getting minutes as striker, which in turn now looks like, as a result, George has dropped down the pecking order even for a striker option. So, listen, I'm okay with that because I'm more comfortable with Guiu in that position than I am with George. George is not a striker; he's a winger, and he can score you goals, which is nice, but you need more than that in that position. All right, and then the last thing, Scott, you'll get a good laugh out of this. This is what we'll end it on. Washington in development.
No.
It's one tweet and one tweet only, people. Kieran Gill. The plan now is for David Washington to join up Chelsea's development side. This is what I mean with the whole Fallows guy. Prevent shit like this. This is a kid that was what?
Wasn't he in the development side before he went back on loan to Santos, where he didn't play? So now he's come back and is now going back to the.
Yep.
We spent like 15 million on this kid, man. Like, this is.
That's
like,
what I'm saying, Scott.
When people talk to me about, he like people like him and like Fofana, Datro Fofana, that is, and like people like that are why I don't want to hear nothing about but PSR. Well, don't spend money on these guys. You've wasted comfortably 100 million, and I'm being kind probably, but I'm just gonna say for like, let's be generous and say at least 100 million on guys who will never play for us, who you're struggling to sell. By the way, you're struggling to get rid of these players, so there's no profit coming in. You're not flipping them. You're struggling to get rid of them. Maybe just don't spend the 100 mil. That's 100 mil you either have not spent, so you're 100 mil in the black, or that's 100 mil you can put elsewhere to improve the team on, I don't know, a fucking centre back or a fucking goalkeeper.
And this is what I mean, right? And I'm glad you even mentioned goalkeeper, because I feel like as the ownership, even though unlike Marinakis, they've been very like patient with a lot of these positions and willing to give these employees time to, okay, let's see what the plan is and all this and that. I'm sure Egbhali, Boli, all these guys that have looked at the Dijon Whispers, the Sloninas. I know. David Washington, Fofana. They're looking at these players and saying, okay, we purchased this with the intention, even if you like it or not, chat, with the intention of flipping for profit. I'm not seeing the profit. And if anything, I'm seeing the value plummet because they're not playing. They're in the development side. Like, I remember seeing a tweet where the general idea, and why I say to people that the more sustained way of making money isn't winning competitions over and over. Yes, that's nice. That's a great way to make money, but it's not sustainable because some seasons you get a bunch of injuries. Some seasons other teams just have a great run, and things that are out of your control play a factor as to winning competitions. What doesn't play a factor as much is players that you own and buy, and their development is in your hands, right? You have more control over those things and those assets, so you can actually make those assets grow and, flip them for value. That's more under your control. In that sense, you're looking at some of these players that they purchased, the assets, which these guys are stock shareholders and all that stuff. The assets and numbers and growth in numbers is all they look at. That's what they made their billions off of. I'm sure they're looking at players like David Washington. They're looking at some of the stragglers that they have and thinking, Lawrence Stewart, Winstanley, this was your job to flip this into a profit. These were players that you told us were the ones that we needed to recruit. They're profitable players. They're the next talent to this. Don't forget that other one that we signed. The Brazilian kid, the left back. Do you remember his name? Denner. Don't even forget him. What's happening with him? How many assets are just there? Oh, I didn't even know that. How many assets are just there? Right, where the ownership are probably looking like we need to, if these guys can't just stay here and just linger on the payroll, we have to get rid of them, make them profit. Something needs to happen. Something needs to give. Because listen, even if some guys in the chat or Twitter or even between us think that this is only for profit, this owners only care about profit. Well, in that sense, they probably care about these players that have been stagnant getting flipped for profit and some money. So maybe that's where this whole David follows links comes from. Like, hey, we need someone now to supervise these directors or something, because hey, there's some mistakes you're making and you keep making these mistakes. This needs to be mitigated. Otherwise you're on a chopping block too. All speculation, all food for thought. Scott, you want to add anything to that?
I don't think so.
I think I kind of just hit everything on the head.
What happens when you recruit poorly? Like, just.
Mm-hmm. And I hope if this guy does come in, recruitment improves. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why you brought him in, right? Ex-Liverpool, responsible. You're touting him up as this guy responsible for Sané, Firmino, all these great players. Well, cool. If that's the reputation you want to give him coming into this job, if he gets the job, then I want to see that reputation reflected on the scouting going forward. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, ladies and gents, that's the show. Not much in terms of big news, but there was a lot to talk about, a lot of things that have accumulated. If I really wanted to, I could talk about more, but honestly, I think me and Scott are a little bored of some of the topics that have been touted. And hey, listen, we make good discussion out of what we got there. So there were some interesting things here and there, and usual Prime fashion, he joined as we're ending the show. But hey, it is okay.
I was on the show earlier, bro.
Yeah, you were there. You were hanging out. But yeah, that's it. People, we're wrapping it up here. Big up to every single one of you in the chat for tuning in. Big up to every single one of you who did smash up the like button. If you haven't done so already, please, I do urge you to do so. If you're watching on mobile, hit that hype as well. That hype seems to help out with the YouTube algorithm. Listen, views and all that stuff has been slow. Usually after an international break, usually during this time of year, it does get slow up until it picks up. So yeah, helping us out with that algorithm, with the likes or with the hype button, the feature, subscribing, all that stuff helps out with the YouTube algorithm to really push out the content out there. But yeah, actually, before we end, I guess I'll bring this up since we didn't talk about it. Just going away from Chelsea, I'm sure you guys want to talk about it briefly. Liverpool, what's going on? 4 losses in a row to a poor United side. At least, Scott, we had the excuse of a bozo moment and a red card. These guys didn't have that excuse,
I guess. Yeah, it's Salah's washed. That's kind of it. Like, Salah's just fucking washed.
Don't say Salah's washed, because apparently Africans are the reasons why he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. Don't say that. That's what Liverpool fans were trying to say. Us blacks are why he couldn't win the Ballon d'Or. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Mad.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Also, I have a video I made. I want to play it. 1 second.
Oh, is it the video you shared?
Marshall, don't spoil things.
This is a video you never shared?
Hey, wow.
If you want, we can end the stream on that video.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, listen. No, I don't have it. But if you want to pull it up and share it on your screen, or I can just pull it up.
No, yeah.
You let me know what you want me to do. But yeah, Liverpool. Hey, trouble in paradise. That's all I'm saying. Isak, stinker and hooked. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Listen, I still hold faith that Liverpool will turn it around. I think Arne Slot is a brilliant manager. Really? You don't think Liverpool will turn it around?
Maybe. Like, they'd have to...
I rate Arne Slot. That's why I think.
The problem is he has to make some decisions with his team. Like, he needs to start... His front three going forward, which he won't do, should be Gakpo, Ekitike, and Chiesa. That's the best front three currently.
Oh, for some reason he doesn't like Chiesa, and he's just not going to drop Salah.
No. So, like, to be fair, he does. Like, Chiesa's often comes off the bench, but like Isak shouldn't be starting right now, and Salah shouldn't be starting right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like, they both suck.
Yeah, and Florian Wirtz is just not working for them.
Also, you guys know how difficult it is to retain the Premier League.
It is.
That too.
But considering, I mean, Prime, listen, considering how much they spent, you'd think they were well within a good shout to do it.
Yeah, but they've kind of done the Real Madrid thing. If they've just bought a bunch of players thinking they all work together.
Also, you know what's crazy that like, how many transfer windows do we see examples of teams? And us as Chelsea fans, we know this, where we spend the big money thinking, oh, we're gassed and we're going to do all this, and it doesn't pan out. And then everyone says, see, this is why you shouldn't just splash money on names for the sake of splashing money. You should scout properly and do things properly. Now Liverpool have splashed. Marshall, you think Sanchez is top 5? Don't speak. Anyways, now Liverpool have splashed the big money.
Yeah, hold that.
On Scott, you said Chalobah was a red centre back. Don't speak.
Yeah, hold on.
hey, you know what? I said Jackson's better than Isaac. Looks like they're both shit. So.
Don't be so sure of this. All right, let's play this video and let's get out of here. All right, big up every single one of you. We're gonna raid out to Lee Gunner. So go ahead, copy the raid message, let Lee Gunner know where you're coming from. And also, as we end, shout outs to proper casual and higher team members. Guys, if you're members, you'll notice we have some new emojis, more to come up. And to be honest, if you guys have some suggestions for what you want to see in terms of the memberships emojis, leave a comment down below in the the comment section. You can leave it in the Discord. The Discord has a suggestion box or whatever in there, so leave it in there. Discord is an active community, or we're trying to make it more active, so be on a Discord, chat up. I'll be there. We do watch alongs on there, a bunch of stuff on the Discord, so go and check out the Discord, links in the description, all that fun stuff. But like I was saying before I digress, memberships, if you're a proper casual and higher tiered member, you get shout outs in the end of every show, and that's going to go out to JC Dark, Lanray Sadiq, A Soliman, EE, and Adrian. Big up to every single one of you. Okay, guys, we'll see you again for Wednesday, reacting to the Ajax game. And from there, I think I'm going to do a show Thursday, Casually Chelsea show. So, or Casually Chelsea Hour show. So, yeah, big up to every single one of you, and we'll end on this video. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, let me remove this. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Buemo.
Video, Prime.
Oh my god, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing, Maguire? Are we fucking concede? Ya Allah! Harry Maguire! Oh my god! Sorry. Oh my god! Hold up! Oh my god! Hold up! Oh my! Hold up! Hold up! Get that fucking out! Hold up, man! We go again! Hold up! We go again! We're done! We go again! We are done! We are done! We go again! You understand me? Done! Hold up, man! Done!
Any hoes. Now step this way. Step this way. Now step this way. Step this way. Say any. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Say any hoes. Say any hoes. Come on. Now step this way. Step this way. Now step this way. Step this way. Say any hoes. Say any hoes. Any hoes. Step this way. Now step this way. Step this way. Step this way. Say